what's going on, man? This is Dr. Rhadi, Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, 4-time national judo champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach. My man Keith Pough has probably heard that 100 times, and it comes off just as smooth every time that I say it. I'm here with
every time. Never get old, baby.
I'm here with the amazing Coach Keith Pough, and I'm gonna talk about Keith a little bit, but I'm gonna let Keith talk about himself a little bit more. I've known Keith, man, since he was a young athlete at Howard University. I think if you've ever watched the motivational speech that I did at Howard University, and I mentioned number 13, Keith is the one that I'm talking about. It's probably the, and I'm talking about myself right now, but that's probably the best motivational speech ever done at Howard University. Hey, that'll get you running out the tunnel right now.
Deliver the message.
Deliver.
Listen here. Hey, I got the helmet downstairs. I go suit up real quick.
Hey, put that thing on, hear that thing snap on both sides.
Hey, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack.
Well, let me tell you something. Keith he's a future Hall of Famer at Howard University. Absolutely one of the best linebackers to ever line up at Howard. We come from a recent legacy of linebackers at Howard University, from Mark Christie to Tracy White, and then elevated with Keith Pough. I've watched Keith develop not only as an athlete, but as a coach. I came a little bit before him, and in terms of the Howard University line, I played football at Howard. I was a professional athlete, and he came after me. He played football at Howard. He became a professional athlete, went to the NFL, did a small stint there, and then began. He did the same thing I did. He started learning more about how to become a better athlete and how to make his body, which is the best machine that he has, run like a well-oiled machine. So he jumped into the strength and conditioning world and has now become one of the premier coaches in the United States when it comes to strength and conditioning. He is one of the assistant strength and conditioning coaches at the University of Maryland. And what's crazy is my first strength and conditioning volunteer job I did at the University of Maryland. And when I saw him at the University of Maryland, I was like, this is absolutely fantastic. Like, we never talked about stuff like that, but he went in the same vein as I did. I ended up being an assistant strength and conditioning coach at Towson State University. He's an assistant strength and conditioning coach at the University of Maryland. And what's cool is I still do strength and conditioning, and I can call Keith now and get information. Like, he just sent me a book that absolutely blew my mind. Just recently. And it's cool watching his personal development, watching his professional development, watching him shed the things that he needs to shed in his life to move forward and pick up the things that he needs in order to grow. And I don't talk to him all the time, but I watch him. But we do talk. But I see the pain, I see the heartache, I see the development, and that's part of the whole process of becoming an athlete and part of the whole process of becoming a world-class coach. Because when you're a world-class coach, you shoulder the burden of the athletes, and they don't know it. You shoulder every win, every loss, every conversation that they bring to your office, every time that they talk to you about their personal relationships, about their school, about their classwork, about things going on in their life, every loss that they have in their personal lives with their family members and people who pass away. And you shoulder that whole burden, and you coach them through that process, especially in the area that he's in right now at the university level. And he specializes in, and I believe when I watch him, and I've done this before because I've coached women and female athletes. He specializes in coaching women and female athletes, and that's a really tough area and space to deal with. In order to pull out the best from them and not change who they are, but you got to change what they do. And that's very, very difficult as a coach, especially in that age group of 18 or 17 to 22, when they're really figuring out where they are in the world. And I haven't seen anybody who does that as well as Coach Keith Pough. And he's done it so well that, he's earned just 2 rings recently. His teams from the University of Maryland, the men's basketball team and both the women's basketball team both won the conference championship this year, and they had an opportunity to display their talents in the NCAA tournament. So that's as much as I'm going to talk about Keith Pough, but he's also my fraternity brother. All right. We both, I'm not even going to tell you what fraternity we're in. You already know. Don't even play no games with me with that, okay?
Let's start there.
Don't let the red shirt fool you. You know what I'm saying?
The known knowns. Let's keep it there. The known
knowns. It's the known.
The known knowns.
Well, listen, we don't want to go too hard in the paint, but in the beginning, man, go ahead and drop your resume. It's good to have you on here, man.
Oh man, it's a pleasure, man. Once again, I want to always extend my gratitude. It's an honor and a privilege to one, be counted, not as your colleague, but also as your friend from day one, and as a mentee. I'm always privileged to the knowledge that you give unselfishly, without giving me the answers, allowing me to think for myself, and like I said, showing me the path, but not telling me which way to go. So I'm appreciative of that first and foremost. I come from humble beginnings, little country boy from South Carolina. Played football all my life, and I was fortunate enough for football to carry me through Howard University, how it made me a man in all aspects and endeavors. I was fortunate to have a full scholarship to play football, 4-year team captain, 3-year Black College All-American, set a couple records while at Howard. I was fortunate to have a cup of coffee with the Buffalo Bills, and I had a little sip of tea with Cleveland. And then after that, I was really in a space where, I had to figure out what I wanted to do with life and make that transition. But I knew I was always enamored to training because when the cards don't really shake out in your favor, you got to play the hand that you're dealt. And I wasn't the most gifted. I wasn't the tallest, wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest. But what I had was a determination to be the best and to be the hardest worker in the room, which really separated me from a lot of people who had the, physical attributes and who passed the eye test in high school. I mean, and people, they think I'm lying when I tell them this story, but there are a number of guys that I played high school with that, were 6'4", 225 in high school, from their freshman year to the senior year, like grown men, like, here I was.
Boys Barry White.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about cornbread Fred, big country strong, they don't have to lift away.
Growing up in the morning feeding the pigs.
Feeding the pigs. Take that slot bucket out there. I was 5'8", up until my junior year in high school. So college football, let alone the NFL, was a long shot for me because I didn't have it, and that's the reality of life. You got to realize when it may not be for you. But I was fortunate enough to hit a growth spurt, and the cards kind of played out in my favor in high school for me to hit two growth spurts where I went from 5'8" to 6 foot in one summer. Hit a nice little growth spurt. Didn't really gain too much weight. And it's a long story, but I ended up transferring schools, changed position. I played wide receiver from my ninth and 10th grade. I wanted no parts of defense at all. I wanted to play offense. I saw Jerry Rice was giving a speech talking about like being a possession receiver and having longevity in the game. And he was like, I'm not taking no unnecessary hits. And if I catch the ball, I see 3 defenders, I'm gonna just get what I can get down, get out of bounds. I was like, shit, say less.
Sound good to me.
It sounds good to me. I was like, I'm gonna catch the rock, because that's the most important thing. I'm gonna catch the rock, secure the rock, boom, get down, get out of bounds. Not that I was scared of physical contact, but it's about longevity. And long story short, transferred schools, and we played in a scrimmage, and I was playing safety, because I had to play defense. I went to a small 1A school. We had 25 people on the roster, so you gotta play offense, defense, punt return, kickoff, kick return. There's no break. You gotta play everything. Oh, so we played in a scrimmage. I was at safety. My father, who was my defensive coordinator at the time, we had a linebacker who kept getting in the scuffles. He kept getting in the fights. Got into a fight in scrimmage, so my father sent him on the bus, moved me to outside linebacker. And this is going into my junior year. And this is the end of my sophomore year, spring ball going into my junior year. And the play broke, boom, made a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, like off instinct, and it was, I didn't think nothing of it, just made the tackle. I was like, all right, next play, ran like a middle dive. They kept running up the middle. So father moved me to inside linebacker. Boom, now I can see everything. So I'm making a tackle here, make a tackle there. And they had this big kid, from Bluffton, South Carolina. He was about 6'7", maybe 300 pounds. They threw him a screen, and before you know it, I reacted to the ball, and I'm there, and I'm looking, I'm like, and it's amazing what your mind can do in that split second, and everything slowed down, and now you really think, you like, somebody got to make the tackle. So before you know it, I threw myself into him, closed my eyes and threw myself into him. Cause at the time I'm 6 foot, maybe 180.
185.
Soaking wet. With
a roll of quarters in your pocket.
I got a roll of quarters.
Right. Laundromat quarter.
That's it. I threw myself into him, and I hear everybody screaming, and I'm like, bro, he done scored. I rolled over. He was on his back. Everybody, and I done got dog piled on. So the next day, I guess the head coach at the time had a conversation with my coach, like, what do you think about your boy being linebacker? And that just that sparked it. Next summer, 6'3", got a lot of late offers. Always wanted to go to HBCU. I grew up, in the backyard of South Carolina State University. I'm trying to make a long story short. And then,
hey, listen, this is my show. It could be a long.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I had a 2-hour show the other day. I dropped the whole 2 hours. Listen.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, listen, this belongs to me.
There it is. I'm gonna take my time. We're gonna slow walk.
No, that's it. Listen. What you say?
I grew up in the backyard of South Carolina State, and always wanted that experience because it's different. Man, it's.
That black college experience is different. It's so different.
So different. It's so different on Saturday, man. It's so different. I wanted that.
It's different coming out. It got a different.
Coming out of the tunnel is different.
Yeah. And that's no disrespect to the people that go to the PWIs, because I'll tell you what, it's a different
experience. Yeah.
Listen, because I done also came out. Don't think because we go to black college, we ain't coming out with 55, 60,000. I've been to class. I came out with 55, 60,000 too.
Yeah.
And it's still a different experience.
Yeah. Different.
When you hear the FAMU, or you hear Tennessee State, or you come out in a southern, you understand what I'm saying?
Norfolk State.
Listen, and they're bad. Woo. He get ready to put on his helmet now.
I'm about to start itching. Hey, it's a different experience on that Saturday, man. On that third and fourth, it's crunch time, and they playing knuck if you buck. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to get right. Somebody ain't gonna make it today.
Somebody not gonna make it.
Somebody ain't gonna make it today.
No, they gonna send you. They gonna send you a piece of paper talking about the funeral service on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, I need you to be there 1 o'clock.
Because somebody not gonna make it.
Man, look.
And I tell you what, man. I don't want to take you out of your story, but I want you to dive in, and that's not what I want to talk about. But I want you to dive in on the black college experience a little bit as an athlete, because we're in a time right now that mirrors the time when I came out. Okay.
Right.
When I was coming through, we had the Public Enemy movement coming out wearing the little African medallions. Then we had Spike Lee that was coming out with his films, Do the Right Thing. And then we went through the Bill Cosby movement of the Cosby Show in a Different World, which is a black college show. and the influx of Black folks that went to HBCUs at that time kind of mirrored what we had in the 60s and the 70s.
Right.
And then we're looking at those professionals that came out of that 60s, 70s movement are what we looked at.
Right.
And then we're looking at the Spike Lees and the people like that, right, and the John Singletons who making their movies. Right. And then we jump in, and now we're out. We're out now. We're the professionals, and a new crop of people are coming through. Right. And things were different. We came out of that Bush era, and now we're in the Trump era. No matter how you feel or whatever, it creates and spawns different things and different opportunities for different people. And this is the opportunity where we see a wave, or we're seeing the rumblings, right, trying to get this Fab Five for HBCUs coming. Some of these high profile basketball players are considering going to HBCUs. And I don't really think people understand what life is like at a historically Black college, or what the athletic life is like. When you look back and you think about the premier running back to ever hit the field, one of the premier running backs to ever hit the field, you're talking about Walter Payton.
You know what I'm saying?
Walter Payton, Jackson State. Right.
Jerry Rice. Listen,
when you sit down and you think about some of the individuals who have, defensive linemen, Michael Strahan.
Man, Deacon Jones, Larry Little,
Rob Theory,
Mel Blunt, Ed Too Tall Jones.
What's my man? Robert Porcher.
Like Marcus Douglas.
Hey, watch this. Earl Holmes.
They don't know about Earl Holmes.
Let me tell you something, man. I want you to tell the story. I want you to tell your story. But I want to tell I don't know if you heard it before when I did a speech at Howard University. When I did a speech with the football team, I don't know if I ever told you about my Earl Holmes story. So
I don't think so. No.
Okay, Earl Holmes put 3 people in the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted White was one of them.
Oh my goodness.
Ted was urinating blood. Coach Wilson. So they had, for us it was called a 60 front. So nose and Sarah, nose and Will. So the 3 down linemen covered. Right. And then Earl's sitting in the middle.
Yeah.
And there's nobody on Earl because he's back away from the center.
Yeah.
Center can't get Earl.
No.
He
don't got it.
You don't got it. Now, Earl Holmes franchise player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We in the meeting. Coach Wilson say, we're going to run 50 ISO right up the middle. I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. We want the center of the down block. And then the fullback go in the middle. Hey, listen, you know me, I was an engineer, so you know me. I'm a smart ass. I'm doing the math. I done carried the 1, you know what I'm saying? I done divide by 2, square root, you know what I'm saying? I done did all the math by it. I say, what type of sense does it make for me at 225 pounds to run into Earl Holmes who's 260 and the center is right there?
Right.
Ferguson, we don't need you to so. I said, okay. Nope. Earl Holmes now averaging 22 tackles, 23 tackles a game now. Earl Holmes is 260. 260. You seen Earl Holmes, bro?
Moving,
man. I'm talking about getting sideline to sideline, crashing, coming up the middle. I had watched Earl Holmes hit Stephen Mosley, made him do a 360 flip. Boom, hit the ground. He came to the sideline and started crying. Man. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Somebody else ran across the middle. Earl put him out the game. Earl had hit Ted so many times in the backfield. It was unbelievable. He getting up slower and slower. They get this bright idea. I'm on the sideline. Ferguson, grab the front of your face mask. Let me get one right, 52 ISO. I run out there. I said, man, one right, 52 ISO. Terry White say, one right, 52 ISO on 1. I'm a world-class athlete now. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I was not then. Okay. Well, I was in the developmental stages. Okay?
Right.
Then I was a mechanical engineering student. I was running the whole force equal mass time acceleration all in my head.
Boy had about to make a business decision.
I had to make a business decision. I had to make a business decision, coach. When they called the play, okay, I was in my 3-point stance. I stepped with my left foot.
Yeah.
I put my right foot behind my left ankle.
And
act like I fell down. Act like I fell down, dog. They say, they pulled me out of the game. Get your ass out the game. I said, let me tell you something. I went to the hospital that evening to visit Ted. Okay, because I was not in the bed. All right, I was not in the hospital. Bro, listen, I don't know if we was gonna win that game. I can tell you what, we weren't gonna win that game with that ISO.
Oh, absolutely not.
And let me tell you something. Out of all the people on the sideline, if you think you're gonna call me the ISO and the Earl Holmes who's knocking out, I'm not talking. Listen, you are a good linebacker. you are agile and speed playing linebacker. One of the things that got you caught up is like you were a tweener, like you were a strong safety linebacker. Now big enough in the NFL to be a linebacker, not fast enough to play strong, not slow by any means, but you right. You need to be if they don't have no 4-4 defense, it's hard for you to play.
Exactly.
So Earl Holmes was straight knockout.
Yeah.
Different type of player.
Different type.
Let me tell you something. I had got caught up in the familiarity heuristic and the recency heuristic. I had seen what he was doing in the first quarter. And by the time they called me in, my answer was no, sir.
No, sir.
Not me.
Not today.
And not today. How you? Now, I'm telling you that I'm not telling you that is the thing to do, but I'm telling you this. And I try to tell my son this because he hasn't played yet. And I want you to talk about the blackout experience. When you get hit hard,
you reevaluate some things.
It will change your mind,
man,
and it will change your life.
Oh yeah, it'll make you realize some things.
You will gain some clarity.
Oh yeah,
about what it is that you want to do for a career.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell you something. 7-on-7 looked good.
It looked great.
It looked great. 7-on-7.
Somebody put that Rhadi smack dead on your chin.
Ooh, I'm talking about. Listen, when they put that Rhadi on you,
and tattoo you. Hey, and the difference is when they put it on you,
yeah, and then push off and
then put their pressure on you while you on the ground.
And let me I still want you to make your point. I'm still gonna bring the question back. But talking about what Coach Pough said before, when you're young, you close your eyes when you hit. When you get old, just like if you watch boxing, people are looking at everything. When you get older, when you hit, you see everything.
Everything.
You don't close no eye.
You want to see everything. You want to see everything. Hey, look here, man. It's a different experience, man. Oh man.
Okay, go ahead and talk about the black college experience. Talk about your freshman year coming out of the tunnel for the first time, getting on the field.
But that's oh man, shoot.
It's hard to think back on it.
It was so real because you you put all the work in, and then for me, my dream, quiet as kept, was never to go to a PWI. Like I had a favorite school that I wanted to go to. And I was like, you know what, if I get a scholarship, I would like to go to University of Miami or, LSU. But that wasn't what I truly wanted. Like I wanted that black college experience because being at growing up at South Carolina State, the vibe is just different when you're around your people and you can relate and everything's relatable. And then you see, the men of Omega Psi Phi jump in the wall, to set something out. And you like, I want that. You can't go to LSU and get that. You can't go to University of Miami and get that. You can't get, you can't get
that Howard University swag, sir.
Hey, you can't get that. You can't get that. You can't get talking out the side of your neck. You can't get hay in the middle of the bomb.
Well, you can't get it.
You can't get ice cream man. Or on the same token, you can't get all of my steps. at a halftime show.
At a halftime show.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get Never Would Have Made It. You know? You can't get Pretty Brown Eyes.
No, you can't.
You know what I'm saying? Coming through some tubas and a trumpet.
No, you can't get it.
It's a different feel. And when you running through that tunnel, man, it's not as glamorous with the brick and mortars, but you see your people. You hear your people.
And there's nothing more beautiful than that.
And I'm saying it's a different dialect. It's a different dialogue. It's a different dynamic coming through that tunnel, man. And you come on the field and you go to the sideline, they play the national anthem, then they play, you know, sing the black national anthem, lift every voice and sing. And to me, that changed everything, my outlook on how the game is played in the game of football. And then you gotta line it up. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I've seen a lot of great athletes, you know, in the NFL or whatever, but we have the same caliber of talent at the HBCUs.
Same.
You know, and the reality of it is, a lot of the players that, you know, back in the day and now that come from HBCUs are Hall of Fame caliber athletes. So, you know, if I had to make the argument, I would say there's the only difference to me, you know, between HBCUs and PWIs is in the trenches. And big schools is in the trenches.
That's it. Because on the skill position.
On the skill position, you got skill. You got skill.
I tell people this. I say, man, having a good team in college is not really based off of how much you cultivate. It's how well you recruit.
Absolutely.
You really don't have a lot of time to make any marked changes in a person in that time.
Right.
The person's gonna have a lot. The physiological vat for the person is so wide at that particular time. If you give them a cartwheel push-up program, they're gonna get big. Right. They're gonna get big anyway, 18, 19, 21, 22.
Right, because the neuroadaptations is so vast. Like
exactly. Now, if you can get all those players and pool them in a certain environment together, then they're gonna get better from being around each other. Yep. It's a recruitment thing. So if the athletes that go to the PWIs just go to the HBCUs,
crazy. And another point, you know, that's really touched on. I'm not gonna say it's easier to be a dog, you know, at a you know, a predominantly white institution or, you know, or D1 BCS level program. But if you think about the law of averages, if I'm on defense and it's just me and a cornerback that are dogs, everybody else is just, you know, run-of-the-mill average, or, you know, their goal is not to play football. They're just doing it because it's a scholarship. Then every play is different. Those business decisions look different. Those choices, when you got to take on somebody like Earl Holmes, they look a whole lot different than when you at LSU and you got a defensive end, a 3 technique, a nose guard. You got another DN. You got 2 linebackers. You got, you know what I'm saying, your whole secondary, all of them dogs. And they all hungry. They all want to eat. They all, you know, projected to go first, second round. Now, all I got to do, I just got to do my job. I just got to do my job. I just got one job to do. My corner making it easy. I know he shut down. That the ball ain't going there. I got a nose guard that's taking on a double team.
And I don't have to play man.
And I don't got to play man. I play zone. I can preserve my energy. So you got nine dogs on one side as opposed to 2, where you know what I'm saying, that 2 is taking on the brunt of everything. You know, you got to think for the safety, think for the corner. You know, my nose tackle getting blown off the ball, so it's different dynamics. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying if I had to look at it from the broad, grand scheme of things, I will say this: it's easier to play in a system where I don't got to think; I'm just going.
Right.
You know, I'm surrounded by people who gonna make plays. I can count on them to make plays.
I remember when it was me and my cousin who played at Bethune-Cookman at the time, and it was a couple of other dudes from FAM, Bethune. I think it was somebody. I remember somebody being from one of the schools in Georgia. It might have been Valdosta State. We were down at University of Miami. We were doing 7-on-7, and it was Miami, University of Florida, and Florida State. Okay.
Yeah.
Versus the HBCU squad.
Mm-hmm.
These were the guys that you see on television. Those dudes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Man, we beat them so bad.
Yeah.
And talk trash with them. First of all, they can't play man to man.
No.
When you jump up on them in the bump, they can't get off the line.
Absolutely.
All they know how to play is cover 2, cover 3, and at that time a little sprinkle of cover 4.
That's it.
Black college, we playing quarter, half.
You know what I'm saying?
We playing man under.
You got to play man.
We playing man under with the linebackers. We playing man.
You got to. You got to be an athlete.
They just used to playing zone. No, we playing man.
Yeah.
Man under.
Yeah.
So when we play man under and then lock up the corners and let the strong safety, he locks onto the tight end and let the safety play free.
That's it.
Safety, you do what you want to do. So safety can lean on one side, the strong side, the weak side, wherever you think you're going with the ball. Man, we picking the ball off. We run. They was getting so frustrated because University of Miami back then was playing cover 2.
Yeah.
You know how bad a black college eat you up on cover 2.
Man, look here. You ain't got to tell me.
And you don't have no pass rush.
You ain't got no pass rush. You don't got nobody to get to the quarterback back there looking, having a Coke and a smile.
That's it, bro. I mean, we beat them so bad. I felt bad for them taking that beating because they just believe. But listen, they passed the eyeball test, boy.
Oh, they look good.
Ooh, I talk about listen here. I'm talking about
everything.
Yeah.
Pretty
around and
pretty now. Pretty.
They looking good. They look good. I mean, they can't fight sleep.
Man, look here. Look here. Man, and to your point, we my freshman year, going into my sophomore year, how we went over to the University of Maryland, 7-on-7. Man,
same thing. Hey, listen.
Hey, look here. It got so bad over there because they had their offensive linemen, defensive linemen were out there working out too. So they watching, and this is 2008, 2009, right? And we doing them so dirty that we talking trash to the offensive defensive linemen because we walking up and down the field, you know what I'm saying, picking them apart. So their offensive defensive linemen are literally saying, y'all don't want to put the pads on, dog. Like, man, we playing the drill. Y'all called us over here.
Because y'all thought y'all were going to get some work. Y'all got work.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I like granted, if we keep it, let's call a spade. We put the pads on, y'all going to beat us in the trenches because y'all have better athletes. Y'all stronger.
I wouldn't even go that far. What happens is they got more depth.
They got more depth, yeah. So
what happens is in the first 15 minutes,
we in there.
But when they rotate
that special teams,
and watch this, that second group of linemen that comes in.
Oh yeah.
We go from 1 to 5. They go from 1 to 1.5.
That's it.
Like I starting 5 in the front on the front line, and they starting 5 on the front line. Oh, it's no problem.
No.
When they start substituting and that beat down coming, and we don't have nobody, we don't have a substitute.
Absolutely.
And people don't really realize that's the difference between scholarship offers.
Yeah.
They have more scholarship offers. What they got? They get 60, we get 40, 80, and 60. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
Whatever it is now, it's a couple less.
Yeah.
So when you see the difference in the kicking game, we rarely we did my era, and you notice my era. We spent money on a kicker.
Yeah.
We had Ruben Reeves and Jason DeQueer.
Right.
But we spent money on a kicker, which was very rare back then to spend that money on a kicker at Black College. Full scholarship kicker.
Full scholarship, absolutely.
Full scholarship kicker?
Yeah.
No. But it paid off dividends. Yeah. Because tight games.
Now you talking about momentum now, field position. That man,
it's special team. It's everything.
Man, it's difficult to drive the ball 80 yards. Yeah, I don't think people realize how difficult it is on anybody to take that ball 80 yards.
And let me tell you how, and it's difficult because I can swap in. I got at least 3 tailbacks and at least 2 blocking fullbacks, and I'm rotating. And they the ones running in the plays, and I'm rotating them in. Yep. But the linebackers and the D linemen, they stand out there the whole time.
Once that thing when it get about play 7, play 8, you like, hey, Coach, we might need give me a timeout or something. And
then we start. Then when the linemen start getting tired, the old linemen start getting tired. That's when they start running the 3-step drop, because it's easier to pass block than it is to pass rush.
Yep.
Boy, and the defense start getting tired, and they start.
And then that 5 turned to 15. That 15 turned into 20. That 20 turned into 45.
And you watching for the defense start arguing amongst each other.
Yeah, you get the sign. And then you can't even get your cup of Gatorade. Go get your don't even get a sip of water yet. But yeah, it's different, man. And I would dare to say the differences in the depth and in the trenches on those levels. Even if you do look at your perennial HBCUs, their depth, their caliber athletes in those areas are different than someone who struggled. So.
Well, let me tell you something. I want to touch on this because I heard you talk about it before we jump into the meat of the discussion. The meat of the discussion is basically what Division I athletes need to do over the summer, and what prospective Division I athletes need to do. Like if you're a high school athlete and you want to play D1 football or become a D1 athlete, what kind of things should you do right now in this particular situation, dealing with the COVID-19 situation, and just as a perspective, if you're a junior, et cetera, some of the things that you need to do. But before we jump into that, because that's the meat of the discussion, you talked about, I'm not trying to Barbara Walters you, okay? You talked about your dad and the importance of your dad, man. I met your dad when you were at Howard. Man, wonderful dude. And I didn't know he was your coach. Yeah. And one of the people that moved you in the linebacker. But your dad passed away a couple of years ago. Yeah. God rest his soul. Talk about, man, my dad was a Heisman Trophy candidate. My dad used to punt the ball to me, run it back, look it all the way in. And my dad's still living. He had his birthday a few days ago. But talk about your dad, man, and the impact that he had on you, on your athletic career.
My father, oh man, was a all-American dad, man. I knew hard work because that's what I saw. Someone who never stopped, who would give anybody the shirt off his back, and he was always true to himself. And he got that mostly from my grandfather, who, my grandfather would always say, son, if you can find your hands to do anything, what I'm saying, learn to do it well. And my father could drop an engine in a car, he could build a house, sheetrock, anything you needed, plumbing, you need to run some electrical wires, sound system, whatever. Sheetrock, anything. Everything. My dad he was the guy to call. Lay a floor, tile, linoleum, siding on the house, shingles, on the roof, and a lot of my work ethic I got from him. I remember, growing up, he introduced me into football. I was his ball boy, going on the sideline, getting ran over, for a long time. A couple of his players would always tease me because I was always on the sideline, but I was so close to the action that, you know, they ran a sweep one time and two players like collided and landed on top of me during the game. And I'm small, so he picked me up, handed me across the fence to my mom, and kept the game going. But you know, I was always in football. No matter, like, I was born into football because that's what he did, and I was everywhere with. I was in his back pocket from the time I was born until the time that, you know what I'm saying, he eventually transitioned. And I don't recall ever having a summer or a spring break or a winter break or any kind of break where we wasn't doing some kind of work. Putting shingles on the house, you know what I'm saying, during the summertime, and then going to 7-on-7, doing the winter break, you know, going and remodeling houses, laying floors, putting up lights, doing little small carpentry work, doing plumbing work. That's where I got my work ethic from, because that's what I saw, and I was always around that. And I knew, you know, there's no substitute for hard work. And you know, my father, he was a player's coach. He had a personality like no other. Either you like him or you didn't, and that's just what it was. But he didn't have grievances with a lot of people. When he did, they were well founded, because he just had such a good heart, you know. And I remarked at how many people, you know, said he did for them, and yet we didn't go without. You know, and I don't understand how he had the time to do it. But I understand because he didn't stop. He had, I believe he knew his time was limited, so he didn't have a lot of time. You know, he couldn't put things off. He was always, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. If something wasn't right, he couldn't sleep. You know, if this didn't happen, you know what I'm saying, that thing would bother him until the early hours of the morning. He'll be up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning trying to go get it done. I gotta go do this for that person. I gotta go, you know, help this person with that one. You know, I gotta go help this person change the brake shoes. Bring it by the house. I got it. Yeah, you can come to the house. Most of his players stayed over at the house because that was just, we're going to Coach Pough's house. Raising athletes and being there for his athletes and being that father figure. Because in our in our culture, we lack that father figure, especially as men. Women too, but most young males need that. They're looking for that father role. Someone who is a man. In order to be a man, you got to see a man, and the closest thing to a man, you know, was my father. Now, was he perfect? No. You know, he wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, he was a great man and a great person. And, you know, he taught me everything I knew, or everything I know, you know, to this day, just about work ethic, about what it is to be a man, what it is to be a friend, you know, to you know, what true friendship is. And being true to yourself, not slighting yourself in the process. So he was my coach in high school, you know, coached me all through high school. 9th, 10th grade, you know, he was my head coach. 9th, 10th grade year, my 11th, 12th grade year. He was an assistant, he was a defensive coordinator, assistant head coach. And then when I got the scholarship to Howard, I did 1 year at Howard, and then the next year, you know, he moved up to DC. Somehow he found a way to get on the coaching staff at Howard. I lie to you not. Somehow he found a way to get on the coaching staff at Howard, you know, and lasted, you know, three head coaches.
Your dad coached you at Howard?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't my coach.
He wasn't your coach. No, yeah. But he coached. You gotta give you a little space to grow.
Yeah, a little space. Yeah, you know.
Right. But he kept his eye on you. He kept his eye on you.
I don't. There hasn't been a time, and I understand it now, but I didn't understand it then, why we never separated. There was probably a year max that we were, I guess, separated. And when I say separated, I mean like we wasn't always, because we were always together from the time I was born until, you know, again, like I said, up until he transitioned, always together. And I can,
your dad was everywhere.
Everywhere. And he, man, and I'll try to tell two brief stories just to kind of get, so people have an understanding of like what he was. So he coached at a Columbia Heights educational campus in DC. They had a game on a Friday night. We played FAMU. We had to play FAMU that Saturday in Tallahassee. I believe it was a night game. This man coached his football.
It was a Saturday night game.
Saturday night game. Coached his football team that Friday night. He agreed to drive the Penske truck. So this is the truck with the equipment. We not checking. We don't have the resources to fly all the equipment, the tape and the video equipment. So he.
So hold on, time out. He was coaching at Howard and the high school?
Yeah. Yeah. So he coached his team that Friday night. Got on the road after the game.
No. Don't forget the part where he had to load the truck.
Got to load the truck. He got to load the Penske truck. Loads the truck. Drives from DC to South Carolina for that Saturday morning. That's the 8-hour trip. 8-hour trip. Got up, slept, I guess maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then drove from South Carolina to Tallahassee in the Penske truck to make sure we had our equipment for that game on a Saturday night. And this is not like a one-time event. He was also a minister.
Wait a minute. It had to set up the equipment.
Set up the video, the headsets, and like that's what he was. So he would.
And you said he was also doing what? He was a minister.
He's a ordained minister as well. So now he's also doing Bible study and being a chaplain, and this is the crazy part. After the game on Saturday night, he drives back to South Carolina so he can attend our home church service, and then drives back up to DC. Goes to work Monday morning. Work the entire week, just to do it all over again.
Coaching on two teams.
Coaching on 2 teams, and that's the kind of man he was. That was kind of like he didn't have an off switch. There was no, and this is where I find some semblance of understanding what rest and recovery does, and being able to disconnect just by watching him. So there are things I've learned from him that he may not even understood at the time, but there's a time and a place for everything. But he was always go. Like I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And that's just, one story. Another story is football always brought us together. And then when I wasn't playing anymore, we didn't have football. But we always talked about owning motorcycles or going to West Coast Customs, getting custom bikes and whatnot, getting the big choppers. So one day, I'm in Logo, working out, doing some training. And he called me like, hey man, I'm at the Harley dealership. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, come out, look at these bikes with me. It's like, bro, I'm not getting no bike, so you can it. I don't need another bill. Like, I'm good. So we get there, and we looking at bikes. I'm like, this cool. I'm like, I don't need a bike. So he like, let me work something out. So and he could talk. He could talk your drawers off. So hey, look here. hey, you have a conversation with you, and next thing you know, you give him your whole checkbook.
Right, everything.
I'm talking about talk, but not just like in a way that was some BS. It was like substance-filled conversation.
Right.
So we end up getting these motorcycles. And my mom called as we signing the paperwork. Listen here, she don't know where we at. None of that. So she calls his phone.
He ain't even told nobody nothing.
Call his phone. So she gives he look at the phone, and he give it to me. Yeah, what's up, Mom? We talking, boo. And he was like, "Where y'all at?" I was like, I'm just with Pops. We out, And before I could say anything, she's like, "Y'all better not be getting no motorcycles." And I just looked at him. I was like,
That ain't my business.
It ain't my business. So I said, no, we ain't doing that. So we signed the paperwork, came home with the motorcycles, man. And, it was another way for us to bond, and I guess to get everything out that we always wanted to do. We had football. I was able to, play in the NFL, which was his dream, and it became my dream. He was so proud of me for doing that. I remember going to the NFL Combine. I came home with the gear that they gave us, and I just gave it to him, and he would wear it.
Anytime.
He would wear it like it was his. So,
hey, it was.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it was his.
Yeah. So like, he was everything to me, man. Solid individual. In his transition, and it made a lot of things clear for me. Just as a man, in general, it put a lot of things into perspective. What I needed to do, how I needed to move. Everything that I needed, I had already learned. For the most part, and how I needed to move. I needed to govern myself accordingly. A lot of universal truths, reveal themselves in this transitioning.
Right, and you understood why he spent all that time with you, man.
It made perfect sense, man. It made so much sense and gave me so much peace, knowing that my purview, man, and looking at you and your dad, man, y'all was like two brothers, man. And that's how we were, man. Like it was no shortage on. He was my father, but he also was my friend, like my best friend. Best friend.
That would tighten you up too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That would keep it real with me, and that's what you need though. You need somebody that gonna keep it real with you no matter what.
Right.
But always have your best interest at heart.
They pull you out like my old man said, "Hey man, God is not pleased with that behavior."
Exactly.
That's all he say. he don't get it.
Deeper than that.
You don't get it all that. Dad, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What did God say?
What did God say?
Pray on it.
Did you pray about it?
No, I ain't pray about it. Okay, then. And they just walk off.
And then walk off and leave there. You like, you ain't gonna help me? You gonna? I just did.
Just did help you, man. I tell you what, your old man sound like mine. My dad never missed a game.
No.
Bro, I'm talking about when I think about it now that I got, as we say, I got two children.
Yeah.
And he didn't miss
Nothing.
Only one thing that they missed because they didn't know what was going on. I won the spelling bee in second grade. Wasn't no paper sent home or nothing. We just had the spelling bee that day. That's the only thing that he missed.
Yeah, because he didn't know about it.
Bro, I'm playing in South Carolina, man. He's there.
Yeah. He never missed a game. Any of my college games. I mean, when he was on the staff, but with that year, he wasn't. He was at every game. Every game. My dad, he did not go to the Circle City Classic because we played on ESPN. Because you know how it is. When you're a dad, you also want to be able to. You want to be, exactly.
Remote. Exactly. Like, look at exactly. Right, and look at your son play on ESPN. So we played on ESPN a few times. He had that particular privilege. But one of the best things, man, was I played in the Black College All-Star game.
Yeah.
To have my parents see me playing they watched me on TV to play in an All-Star game. And my parents, looking up in the stands and seeing my parents at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Something else. Your dad went to the NFL game, right?
Yeah, yeah. So they came up while I was in Cleveland, man, and see him there and take that picture to come to practice, man, to come to the facility. I remember
you take that picture. The picture with you in the uniform and everything.
You best believe it. Shoot, I remember my recruiting visit to Howard. I got on the plane. They drove up. He drove like that's just how he was. Like it was for him too.
Right? Know? No, it was. And let me tell you, you said something important, and I tell parents this all the time. They say, "Well, my kids need to make a decision. It might need to be my kids' dream." I said, "Listen, your kids don't have no dreams in the beginning. You live vicariously through your kids for a reason.
For a reason.
Like you have to push your kids to something,
and let them.
And as you push them to the thing, push them so that they learn all the tangibles and intangibles of that thing that can also relate to getting other things.
Exactly, because it's all interdependent, man.
Like all the books that we done read, we read the books where they talk about the parents who, when the kid got popped out the womb, they teaching them how to play chess. They ain't ask them what they want to play.
They setting the tone for early.
They didn't ask them, do they like chess?
Man,
I ain't asked you if you like the grocery in the refrigerator. I see you eating it though.
And I see you tearing it up.
And you're gonna tear up this chess, and I'm gonna teach you chess. They taught all their kids to be what? World champions in chess, or world class chess masters.
Yep.
That is what you do. It's not that you're trying to push your kid to live vicariously through your kid. It's that you, as a parent, get to make the decision of what resources are going to be available to your child, because it's your child.
Yeah.
They say, yeah, but it's their life. Yeah, it's their life when they can live it.
Absolutely.
But if I leave you where you are at 2 months, you can't live your life.
Exactly.
You live in my life, because I gotta pull some of my life out to make sure that you have one.
Absolutely.
So until you can live it on your own, you're gonna live.
We're gonna live how we live.
We're gonna live how we got to live. Right.
You know, and it's about that exposure too. You know, if you're not exposed to it, you don't know.
You don't know no better.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know no better.
You don't know no better.
And while you can't make a decision for your child, the best thing you can do is expose them to it and let them make that decision, and then you support them in that decision. And he was that. He exposed me to it. I chose it. I made the choice. And then once you make that choice, there's no halfway.
Right. Well, Coach Pough, give me we're gonna take a pause here for a moment. I'm gonna refill my coffee, and then we're gonna get on with the second part of the interview.
Right on.
So, all right. So, Coach Pough, you talked about a lot of things, man. We talked about HBCUs, your dad's influence. You talked about work ethic, you being a ball boy, bathing yourself in the sport.
Right.
And you also talked a little bit about gender roles, a little bit about a man needs to kind of be around to help another man develop. I mean, there's
Absolutely.
something I don't. If something's broken in my house on my plumbing, I could do what I can,
Right.
but I need a plumber
Right.
to fix it. So
Right,
kind of
yeah.
talk about that, man. Kind of talk about, how you see gender roles, manhood, and then talk about your mom and how your mom allowed, because women have to do that too. They got to allow,
Yeah.
because she has to back off and give some of her time with her husband,
Right.
to you and your dad. You understand what I'm saying? So talk about how she was able to maintain her position as mom and wife, and how your dad kind of influenced you, and how and the importance of gender roles in a society that kind of wants to be gender role less.
Right. I mean, the way I saw it, the way I grew up, it was the way I grew up.
You're talking about nobody else.
I'm gonna make it personal to me, because that's the best example that I can give. I think most times we get so caught up in what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and it's not a one size fit all. Nothing in life is one size fit all. Very few things, most things in life are, based on bio individuality, based on the individual and your individual experience. You may have similar experience, but my experiences are different based on what I perceive, how I was raised, what I experienced. So what I experienced was an understanding between two people who understood what they needed to do to make the best of what they had. And a lot of times we get lost in, this is relationship goals, this is a set, defined way of what it is that it should look like. When in all actuality, it's based on, this is what we got, this is where we want to go, this is what we got to do to get there. What are we willing to choose to let go, to take on, to consume us, or to consume for us to get to where we're trying to go? And one can argue that that's politically correct, but at the end of the day, I can't tell you how to live your life because I'm not living your life. I'm not experiencing what you're experiencing. And nowadays, women are breadwinners now. But that doesn't make the man in the household any less of a man. He's still a man. Allow him to be a man.
And here's a rough part. How do they allow somebody to be something that they ain't never seen?
They ain't never seen. You can't model what you haven't seen.
So what they believe is, I make more money, I call the shots.
Absolutely.
Ain't no shot calling for nobody.
Nobody.
There's no shot calling.
I can tell you one thing for sure. Two things for certain. That money ain't gonna always be there. I done been there and seen it, and you live long enough, you're gonna be without it. If not for a brief time, maybe for an extended period of time. And I'm not saying that to say that money, you don't need money, because you need money. Money is a tool. Money is a tool.
Money answers all things.
That's what the good book say. Money answers all things.
All things.
All things. So you need money. But what I'm saying is, don't let that thing
create a love of it.
Become, because that's the root of.
Don't make me now. Listen.
We can go. We can go.
Put this thing all the way back now.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
Not money.
Not the love of it. The lust for it. The desire for it. It makes you do different things. It makes you treat people different. All right. So that man still got to be a man. All right. Now, if he's being a man, that's a totally different issue. I can't say whether he is being a man or not, but
it's very difficult for people to define what a real man.
What a real man is.
And I hear a lot of people say that, man. And I'm really glad that you're able to sit in that coaching space so that people can see it. Here's the best way I can explain it. And we don't want to preach to you. All right. When you look at gender roles, most of what like we believe and most of what other people believe come from a certain conceptual framework.
Absolutely.
If you believe in the Judeo-Christian theoretical framework, then you have a ideal of what a man does.
Yep.
And what a man does is this. When there's a noise in the middle of the night that could be a possible intruder who could end up killing me, or
that man get up and go see about it.
I'm willing to listen now, boy. Look at let me bring this thing on home. See, I'm willing to go and give up my life, so that everybody else can live. He died so that we may live. So here's the difference. When you're laying in the bed, Jesus, late at night, and the noise goes off. When you know, or you have an expectation of who goes to check, that lets you know the role of that person in the relationship. That, fortunately or unfortunately, comes at a cost.
Are you willing to pay the price?
See, the salvation is free. Jesus. Like for you to be saved, for you to not get killed by the intruder, that's free. The salvation is free. But the move to go to check on the intruder, that comes with a cost.
They're gonna cost you something.
That's gonna cost you something.
They're gonna cost you something.
That's gonna cost you something. So what I try to tell people is the tap on the shoulder that the man get to check on the intruder, the opposite tap on the shoulder that he make because he want to get him something at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, that even
that's different. That's where that thing that scale start to balance right there.
But people don't see that.
Yeah.
They don't see that.
I was raised, man. I like things in threes. A man is supposed to provide, procreate, and protect. So, and how you provide is based on what you have to provide with, what you have to offer in your provision. So, in that man, it may not be financial. It could be emotional. You know, it could be. But you got to understand your role within the role that you're trying to play. And that's when it comes back to what's best for us. What's best for us? Like, and I grew up old school. I don't believe a woman should, have to pump her gas if I'm in the car.
Never, no. I don't believe a woman should touch the garbage can in the house.
Touch the garbage can, never.
If there's a man-child
or a boy in the house, a woman should have to touch the garbage can.
Touch that.
She don't have to do no yard work unless she gardening or pulling some weeds out the garden. She better not cut no grass. She better not do nothing with no air filter. As long as there's a man in the house, a man present, cousin, uncle, nephew, whatever.
And if you know ain't no man over there, you need to go.
You need to go check. Go check.
Go check.
Go see about her. See if she alright. If that's your people.
Now,
that's your people. Now that's how I was raised.
That's how I was raised. Some people that my son will tell you, if we going in the store somewhere, he open up the door for a sister. If another woman there, he step to the side, let that woman walk.
Let go first.
And he go in. Now that might be old school, but that's the only school.
Yeah.
For me now. I ain't saying nothing about nobody else.
That's how my chosen way of life. That's how I choose to live.
That's how
I choose to live. So
you gotta get it how you live.
So, and again, we get caught up in so many schools of thought and we trying to generalize everything. No, what works best for you? That's it. Let's start there, because success leaves clues. And my parents were married for 30-something years. High school sweethearts.
Mine 47.
You know what I'm saying? High school sweethearts. I'm not saying that they were perfect. I'm not saying that everything they did was right. But because they had an understanding, they were willing to work together based on what they had. They wanted to do the best they had with what they had. And it worked for them. So you can't ask for what works for this person, what works for that person. It's gonna fail you every time.
But the one thing that I do know is this, and this will segue us into the part of our discussion.
Yep.
Your parents married for what, 35 years?
33.
33? My parents married 47.
Yep.
There's things that happen in a 30, 40-year-old marriage that ain't nobody going to discuss.
Exactly. Ain't nobody going to talk about.
Ever. There's things that happen in your parents' marriage and my parents' marriage that we ain't never going to talk about.
We ain't going to talk about.
We're going to talk about it. But you know what? If you're going to be married that long, it requires a higher level of perseverance.
Absolutely.
And it requires a higher level of stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
And the reason why people get up and they applaud people who've been married 30, 40, 50, 60 years is because they know the work that it takes to get to that level.
And let me tell you, my mom Dukes is a soldier. Soldier. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? My pops transitioning aside, women don't get enough credit for how powerful they are and how much they take on. And to this, I would say women are the most powerful beings on this earth.
Planet. We don't get here without
ever created by far. And I watch my mom be a mother, be a wife, be a friend, be a colleague, be a daughter, be a sister, and try to balance all of these positions at once and make sure that nothing is lacking, while also dealing with herself and trying to find who she was. Because all she's known is being in a relationship with my father. She's been a Pough longer than she's been a Bloom, which is her maiden name. So, and the things that I've seen transpire in their relationship gives me a deeper understanding of how hard it is, one, to be in a relationship, period, if you really want to be in one. And what you have to choose while in that relationship. Because it's not a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice.
That's not a sacrifice.
You choose it.
You choose it.
If it's something you want, you choose it. A sacrifice is you making a decision for something that you don't want.
Or you gotta give it up.
Give up stuff.
Because you didn't do what
was required of you.
You weren't obedient.
You weren't obedient. You didn't do what was required of you.
So now you gotta sacrifice.
It's sacrifice. Now you gotta give up something that you want
to stay in the position.
To stay relative to where you wanted to be. So relative to where you want to be.
You done
missed it. You done missed it a little bit. To stay in proximity of where you want to be. So, and I mean, she's an amazing human being. And I love her to death. And
I think that is so crucial what you said, man. And what's so different is society's moving, shifting. A lot of things that they don't believe anymore. You have different identities. There's old school. former belief systems, current belief systems, and literally you have certain people who don't believe that they have to fit within a role in a relationship.
Oh yeah, so you got to roll whatever it is.
Let me tell you something, man.
You got to figure it out.
That's foolishness. I'm gonna tell you why it's foolishness.
Right.
Because when two people come together, or it's two or more, you are building a team. Everybody on that team
has a job to do. Everybody can't do the same job. Everybody can't do the same thing.
I'm tired of doing the dishes all the time. You need to do the dishes. Who's better at doing the dishes?
I understand.
Watch it. Now, that might be right. Well, you have to. I'm tired of balancing the checkbook. I'm tired of taking. You need to. Who's better at it? Because somebody got to coach here, and we got to put the best person in the position so that we can win.
So we can win because it's not a competition amongst us. We're a team now.
We're a team. Now, here's the thing. Here's what people don't get because everybody be thinking short term. And listen, I just got divorced last year. Okay, that wasn't something I wanted or something that I ended up with. I got it. Praise the Lord. We got to move on. Everybody got to be respected. But here's the thing. You might play a certain position from 0 to 5 years, and a different position from 5 to 10, another position from 10 to 15, another position from 15 to 20, another position from 20 to 25. You might do all this work in the beginning, and then bam, you in a wheelchair, and somebody got to take care of you at the end part of your life. And you thought it was uneven at first. If you live a life of tit for tat in a relationship, in a marriage,
never gonna work.
Because when you start trying to put things on the ledger of how much you make, how much I got, how much
you did,
how much I let me tell you something, and this is gonna move us in our athletic discussion.
Yeah.
How you feel, okay? How you feel and your feelings are relevant.
Absolutely.
They're relevant.
Absolutely.
We can't use them to win, though.
Can't use them to win. Because your feelings are fleeting.
And they'll betray you.
That's absolutely.
Understand this. If we don't recognize them, we lose. If we don't recognize them, we lose. You come from the sideline, they say, hey, Pew, what you see in there? How you feel if we run so-and-so? I don't know, Coach, so-and-so. He listen, he gonna listen to what you say.
Exactly.
And then he gonna call a what?
You're gonna call a different play.
He's gonna call a play. He might call the one that you say.
Yep.
He might call the one that he feel. But I think a lot of people get caught up in is they think that the role of coach should change every season.
Right. Coach gotta be the coach, man.
Nobody be the coach. And I'm not saying that whoever you want to choose to be the coach, allow that person to be the one who gets up and checks on the nose.
You hear what I'm saying?
Okay, now I'm done with that.
You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying?
I'm done with that.
You just got to put yourself in the best position to be successful, man.
You got to put yourself in the best. You might do 15 things better than your spouse, man. You might. And listen, you might feel like people think, let me tell you the worst thing that I hear people say. They say, man, marriage is 50-50. No, marriage is not.
It's never 50. No relationship is 50-50.
Listen, the marriage might be 90-10 the whole way.
And that's life. And let me tell you, and I think
you didn't sign up for 50-50.
You didn't sign up for 50-50. Because some days it's gonna be 80-20.
You said
some days it's gonna be 20-80. You know, because we go through life, man, we experience transitions at different times because we are constantly changing, constantly evolving. Life is constantly changing. So you may experience something one day where you have nothing to give. I physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, financially, I may have nothing to give.
Yeah.
But if we in it together, if we choose to be in it together, then I might need you to pull the sled for me. Just for right now. It ain't gonna always be like this. But we a team. Remember, we a team. It's if your relationship is 50-50, you best to be high-tailing up out of there. Because best believe somebody else getting the other 50.
Hey, the things that I have seen now that I'm outside of I'm out of that game and a different game.
Somebody else getting the other 50.
Somebody getting the other 50.
You better high-tail it up out of there.
Let me tell you something. Here's my piece of advice. I'm gonna bring my son in here because I want my son to be part of the second half of it. When you start talking about your issues or your problems to people that's not on the team,
loose lips, sink ships.
Your team can't win.
Can't win.
And at the end of the day, you're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose. Listen, the people. Listen, when the people that you coaching in the weight room, when they start talking about your
program
to the people at in the cafeteria or the people on camera, they start complaining to other people. We can't fix that. You're not trying to fix that problem now.
Absolutely.
Now you think it's a problem that you need to get rid of.
Get rid of. You gotta eradicate this. You gotta get that cancer out of there.
And here's the thing. The cancer think the body is the cancer.
And the cancer
Hey, listen now. Hey, listen, I want you to understand this now. I want you to understand what I'm saying now. Hey, coach, the cancer think the body is the cancer.
And that cancer gonna feed off everything in there. Everything is so now that problem that wasn't an issue becomes an issue now because now you see it differently.
Now watch this here. Now here's what people don't have. Here's what people don't realize. The chemotherapy process kills everything.
Everything. It don't separate the good from the bad.
It kills the cancer and it kills the good stuff. But both people got to be willing to die
so that you can live.
We can live. The problem is that when you be on your cancer thing, you just be eating.
That's it.
All you do is go to the next host.
That's it.
I'm done with this. Now we can move on. Rufus, come on in here, son. I need you to meet one of the best. Pull up a chair as we transition. Pull up a chair right here. Right chin.
Couple squat. It's over couple squat.
Hey man, don't tap my house. Don't tap my house. You know he got that. That's Coach Pough.
What's up, brother, man? Boy, getting big, man.
You see, you got the wings. Look at that.
Yeah, I see him.
Look, you can't.
And look, you got the silk do rag or the velvet do rag.
So,
you got the silk on. Hey, look good. I need to get me a haircut. That's why I got this hat on.
Yeah, I got a hat on too. But my hairline it's not in agreement with me.
Man.
Hey, listen. So, what we want to talk about now is Coach Pough. What can an aspiring high school athlete do right now in the summer? Because the summer started early. As soon as the coronavirus hit, the summer started.
You got
What'd you say?
5 months.
Huh?
You got a head start.
So as soon as the coronavirus hit, the summer had started. What can an upcoming high school athlete do to prepare for, their seasons, football, cross country, even those people who are used to playing in basketball leagues in the summer and doing summer track, things have changed.
Right.
So as a strength and conditioning professional, because I'm dad, so
Right.
What
I was the same way. He didn't want to listen to that. He tired of hearing you talk. He hear you talk all the time.
But
get up. Close the refrigerator. Close the door.
Oh my God.
Pick your socks up. Put that pillow over there.
Hey, stop stepping over that garbage. You see that garbage there?
Hand me the remote.
Right.
Hand me the remote.
Put this in the stick bucket.
I think the most important thing, any athlete right now, college, high school, professional, is be a healthy human first. Because without being a healthy human or a healthy person, there is no sport. There is no training because you're spending your time recovering. So being a healthy human first. And
what do you mean by that?
So in terms of this pandemic, let's use the pandemic to be an example. Practice social distancing, wash your hands, making sure that you're using a mask or you're wearing a mask, all within the guidelines of what the CDC has imposed upon us, or the pandemic has imposed upon us, because this is real. We have 40,000 deaths in the U.S. alone, over 800,000 cases, and people are dropping like flies, everywhere. Something that has been seen before, but not in our lifetime, that we've seen something to this magnitude of where people are literally just, passing away. So being a healthy human first, and then along with being a healthy human, pandemic aside, doing the things that your body needs, making the right choices, food, sleep, mindset, movement, recovery, so that you're prepared, you're ready to go for training the next day. And I think those things are paramount to performance, not only as an athlete, but just in daily life and having a great quality of life, just to enjoy life. Building those habits now, those behaviors, those patterns, so that when you're done, because the only guarantee about being anything, a ball player, a champion is not a champion, or a wrestler, a boxer, is that one day you're not going to be one. So what qualities have you put in place? What habits have you built? What patterns, what routines, what disciplines have you contrived over the span of being that are going to sustain you afterwards? Sleep might be the most important. Success happens overnight. And I only say that because we spend a third of our life sleeping. And sleeping is where all your recovery happens. Everything happens. Or it's supposed to. But if you don't get enough sleep, then your body don't have the time it needs to recover, to function properly.
What do you tell your college athletes about getting rest? Because they have schoolwork, but they also got unnecessary screen time going on.
Absolutely.
So how do you coach to that? Because it's different today. So
the best you can do is inform them, because you can't make no one do anything. The best we can do as coaches, as parents.
Not in the college environment.
Well, we in different aspects. So I'm trying to be politically correct. And look, we can't make it much.
They can't sit you down and say, Linda, that loaf of bread that we giving you.
You know what I'm saying?
We want to cut that loaf of bread.
And look, we gonna take about 5 slices.
Slice out of that, because Lisa over here, she says she need to eat too.
She hungry.
She hungry. Because ain't no sense in feeding you unless you're gonna do some more work.
Unless you're gonna do some work. Unless you're gonna produce.
Right. Listen, because that's how they talk to you in college when they get ready to cut the scholarship.
Exactly.
But they don't want to cut it
Oh yeah.
They'd rather you be obedient, so they ain't got to make the sacrifice.
So they ain't got to make the sacrifice. Oh, I mean, and that's what it boils down to, in the long run. You inform them that and I try to do it in a way that it makes sense. So I asked them a simple question. If I told you I would give you a performance enhancing drug free that will improve your performance, would you take it? Don't cost you anything.
Not illegal.
Not a dime out your pocket. Would you take it? Can I increase your one rep max? Can I increase your reaction time? If I told you I can increase your efficiency by 5-6%, would you take it? And most of them say yes. And then I explain to them how sleep is the most important thing that they should be doing. They should be getting all the tangibles based on the research. And I said, y'all remember that performance enhancing drug I was talking about?
That's it.
That's it. But it's not a magic pill. There's no magic pill because it requires discipline and consistency. All the things that we preach about and we preach to them, it comes back to those same qualities, those same habits, those routines, those disciplines of, can I turn my phone off an hour before I go to sleep? Can I get in the bedtime can I go to sleep at the same time every night?
Now let me tell you something. This is so profound, and it speaks to the change that happens with the demographic that we're coaching now.
Right.
Because in our time it was hard work. And the hard work now is shutting it off, shutting it down, because the quality of sleep that you get when you fall asleep looking at your phone is different from the quality of sleep that you get when you cut your phone off, allow your brain to shut down and then sleep. Because there are two different types of sleep. And let me get this point before you go, Coach. Rufus, I'm gonna tell you this here. I just say shut the device off. And I could give better reasoning like he's doing right now. To be honest with you, I'm also reading a book on sleep right now that I'll talk about after you finish. Mm-hmm. But when I was coming up, son, we watched TV and then TV went off.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock, they start playing 3 o'clock, they start playing the Star Spangled Banner. And then the TV go, shh. It'd be a white cloud on the TV. There wasn't no
nothing to watch.
There was nothing to watch.
Right.
The whole TV, like all the channels, the only channel that was going on, and he'll tell you this, watch this. The only channel that was going on was the gospel channel.
That's it.
Miami, it was channel 45. They got prayer all night, and they all night. Yeah,
they call it for your holy water. Call it for your special prayer.
Exactly, and they leave that playing all night in the house sometimes. Some family, my Aunt Ethel did that. That's the only channel that went all night. All the rest of them, that thing cut off, man. And it didn't start back until 5 a.m. or 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, man, speak to them being able to shut things off.
Man, I would argue to say that rest and recovery is just as, if not
more important,
of greater importance than the actual training, because it's a skill. Discipline is a skill. Being consistent is a skill. So the reason why we have so many late night shows, these corporations and companies, they thrive on us being undisciplined and our inabilities to be consistent. So And I'm reading like 3 or 4 books on sleep and peak performance. So why we sleep speaks to how the brain activity based on blue light and being on your phone before you go to sleep. The one book now, Peak Performance, talks about the buckets of sleep duration, sleep quality.
I'm doing Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
You did it?
Yeah. I started. I ain't finished it.
Okay.
I gotta finish it.
I'm on it now.
Yeah. So like sleep quality. So there's a difference between sleep and rest, because you can be asleep and get no rest. No rest because your brain is still active. Your brain is still taking in those sounds. So people are like, I gotta go to sleep with the TV on. Your brain is still reacting to those sounds. To what it hears.
And the lights.
So this is what we tell our athletes. Blackout curtains.
Okay, stop. What do I got in my room? Blackout curtains, right? Okay. You see the tape? You see the tape on the light switch on the fire alarm, on the smoke alarm?
Oh yes, I know what it is.
There's tape on the smoke alarm. I put tape over the light in the room, and I close my closet door. When the lights go out, my room is
pitch black dark.
Otherwise, you cannot what?
You can't sleep. You can't get rest.
You sleep, but you're not getting maximum rest.
Your mind is responding to all of those senses, and that's when
all the external stimuli is stimulating you.
That's it. So, and I tell them, set the mood for you to go to sleep. Just like we set the tone for, we call it prep work. You can call it movement. You can call it whatever. Before you know what I'm saying, hype music, whatever you do before some activity, right? You set the tone for that, for what you're about to do.
Wrap you down.
So cool down. So I tell them, set the mood. Get a stretch in. Take a nice hot shower, nice hot bath. Make sure the room is pitch black dark. Shut it down an hour and a half, 2 hours before you get ready to go to sleep. Stay off your phone, stay off the computer. I mean, you're not missing anything. You've been doing the same thing you're doing all day, scrolling up and down your phone. And if you say you want to be an elite athlete, this is what is required. This is the choice you made. We didn't make this choice. You said you want to be a D1 athlete. You said you want to, get that scholarship. Can you do it without it? Yes. But now you're making yourself susceptible to injury.
And you're making yourself susceptible to the person who is.
Exactly. Because the person...
Yeah, let me say this, Coach. Things change. When I was coming out of school, you were just competing with the dudes in the United States.
No, now
you're competing with the guy who's doing Senegalese wrestling in Senegal.
No.
Now you're competing with the Russian kid who's a Greco-Roman wrestler that one of the coaches is looking at saying he could play D-line. Now you compete with the track and field kid from another country. Now you compete because they're just looking at athletes and talent, and they're looking at talent pools.
Yep. And
they will grab a kid who's playing rugby in Australia and
develop him
and bring them over here to play college football
and develop them. Yeah.
It's a global. You compete in a global pool now, which is different than when we competed.
So now you lessen your chances. So I to any high school athlete, college athlete, I would simply say, because everybody's training, everybody's doing, workouts because that's the popular thing now. I got to work out so I can post my video. But what are you doing when you're away? I tell them, out-eat your opponent and out-sleep your opponent. Out-eat your opponent, not meaning, I'm going to go binge eat and eat McDonald's and Zaxby's and Cane's and and in and out, but providing nutrients to your body that allows you to sleep, allows you to move better, give you a better quality of life, so that you're healthy and so that you can perform. Because being able to perform on the elite level is about repeatability. How often can you perform at this level for how long? Because a lot of times it really is not about the performance. Can you put these performances together, back to back to back to back to back? Can the coach count on you and be consistent on a Tuesday night? And can you put that same performance together again on a Saturday night? It really boils down to what you do in between Tuesday and Saturday. So if your sleep habits are terrible, if your body is malnourished, if you're dehydrated, then the likelihood of you recovering and being able to play that Saturday or have a repeat performance is slim to none. To perform at that level, the level that you is required, one, and the level that you said you want to play, because you got to dominate. There's no more victors. You don't just go out on the court and be like, you know what, I'm going out here to, get a mere 10 and 5. Or I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna try to, I don't know what the terminology is in wrestling, but I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna just win a couple matches and see what I can get. Because in our line of work, coming from where we come from in wrestling or in football, if you go out there half-telling, you get hurt.
No, you're gonna get hurt.
You will get hurt.
All of us have seen people who can't walk anymore.
And it's real.
It's real. It's not.
In real time, for the average citizen, it won't hurt right now, but it will, because it becomes the compound effect, the domino effect. So this domino gets bigger and bigger as time progresses, but eventually it'll catch up to you. I think it's super important, and I want to keep it simple, that you eat nutritious food and you get rest. Because now is the time where you're doing all of the growth for high school athletes. This is when you are making those adaptations, and everything is a stimulus. Anything is anything that you are around externally is stimulating those neural adaptations in whatever it is that you're doing. So sleep, one, is the most important. Food, water.
I tell you what. So we got, you mentioned these things. You mentioned food, sleep, mindset, movement, and recovery. And we covered food,
mm-hmm.
and we covered sleep just now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we teach is people don't understand that sleep and recovery, there's some crossover.
Right.
They're different.
Totally different.
So speak to recovery, the importance of recovery, and how it differs from sleep for the for athletes, especially those athletes who are. And for those people who are listening, man, you're a high school athlete getting ready for college or think you want to play D1. The things that he's mentioning, he's not talking about push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and running. That's not what we're talking about. He's talking about the intangible tangibles,
yep.
the things that require discipline.
Yep.
Like you can't have any discipline unless you're a disciple.
Yep.
Like you got to be a disciple to the process. Yep. And the discipline is the athletic discipline. Am I disciplined enough to look at the food choices and ask myself, is this life or is this death?
Is it death? Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
So if I go life and death, Rufus, if I give you an apple or a pizza, which one is life? Apple. It's very simple. If I give you a Big Mac, all right, and I give you a Snickers bar after a workout, which one is life and which one is death?
It would be Snickers, but I can't eat that.
Right, it would be, because you can't eat peanuts. It would be the Snickers bar. Understanding the timing and
yes, absolutely.
And that's going to move us into the discussion of recovery, man. So go.
So recovery and sleep. Recovery happens during sleep, right? It can happen during sleep, but recovery and sleep are interdependent on one another. Now, recovery is an umbrella where a lot of things can fall. So we have active recovery, we have passive recovery, and there are a lot of modalities and methods that you can use to recover.
Go ahead, coach. Go ahead, coach.
And I mean, with technology, so much has changed now where you got cryotherapy, hydrotherapy, you got acupuncture, you got cupping, things that have been around for centuries, things that have been used and utilized for centuries, but now they're starting to be integrated and applied. Sometimes they're applied in a systematic fashion. So some have a formula. If you know what I'm saying, if you do two or more of these modalities, after a workout, then there's an 80% chance that you have a faster recovery rate, which I don't think I really subscribe to, because I understand that psychologically you have to do something that you like. So telling someone to go take an ice bath may put them in their sympathetic more than their parasympathetic nervous system. And if you know, the sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight, and that elicits a stress response. If I want my athlete to relax and calm down, put them in an ice bath is going to elicit the opposite response of what I want. While there are benefits to the ice bath, and I get it, I err on the side of how we are wired. And
they may not be ready for that.
They may not be ready for that exposure.
18 and 22.
They might not want that.
They
So might elicit a better response. And again, inflammation is not always a bad thing. Chronic inflammation is. Your body's going to recover regardless. Your body is wired to recover. Your body is wired to heal itself. We are wired to heal ourselves. So let's say I got an athlete, who doesn't like the cold tub. We don't have another. And it depends on timing. It depends on intensity of training. A lot of variables you got to factor into it. But if it's just practice, yeah, go get in the hot tub. Hot tub is fine. Relax your muscles. I want you to relax. I want you to be as relaxed as possible. This is when you're going to do most of your recovery. Also, then understanding, now you got to replenish your nourishment. This is your nourishment. So this is how you recover. Because I need good blood, good oxygen flow, good blood supply. I need water in order for me to recover. Keeping it simple.
Right.
I gotta replenish my glycogen storages. I need good minerals, good vitamins, things that allow my body to rebuild itself. Because again, like I said, we are wired to recover. We are wired to heal ourselves. So the food I eat, now, as an athlete, can I get away with McDonald's? Yes, you can get away with McDonald's in your youth.
Thank you.
In your youth.
And that's the thing. That is the difference with. That's the difference with when you're training college athletes or you're training high school athletes. There are things that you can allow. You have to kind of let them. This is a strength and conditioning discussion for people who are interested in doing stuff like that, or if you're interested in being an athlete or strength and conditioning coach. When Coach Pough writes his programs, he starts out with the workout.
Yep.
When you train people who are over 25 or elite level athletes, I start out with the rest and the recovery first.
Got to.
I say, what days are you going to take off?
Yep.
Here are our mandatory massage times, mandatory recovery times. If the person's married, this is your mandatory date night.
Yep.
What time does your spouse want you free? I start with that landscape and then I fill in.
Yep.
College athletes, we start with class schedule, which they already have blocked out because they know what the practice schedule is.
Yep.
And we put in based off of that. And then we work around because physiologically we're dealing with different things. Here's what you find, Rufus. When you see that young kid yoked up at 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, it's because they put some of the professional level practices in early because they've either listened to somebody or their parents have hired somebody.
Yep.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
They hire somebody. Those are the people who they put premium food in their house.
Yep.
They tell their kids to go to sleep at a certain time. They understand the benefits of recovery, so they get the kids up and they make the kids stretch. Do you understand what I'm saying?
They got good guidance. They taking heed to wise counsel, and
that moves me into this point that I want to take you into, because you talk about food, sleep, recovery, and then you talked about wise counsel, which falls under mindset.
Man,
how do you encourage a young athlete to do the things that you are saying and to have that mindset shift?
I don't like to get too philosophical, but if I was talking to Rufus, I would just say before anything manifests in the physical, it has to exist in the mental. You have to see it, you have to want it here first before you will ever see it play out in the physical realm. And I don't know what people's religious beliefs are, but when God did anything, he spoke it first. He said it first, and then it was. Let there be light. And there was light. There was light. Let there be and was, meaning that it had already happened. Now it exists. He saw that it was good. So you have to speak it first, but if you're not thinking about it, if you think it, you say it. If you say it, you'll do it. So I put them in the mindset of, okay, what do you say you want? What are the things that you're inclined to have? And are you willing to do the things that are required of you, that are asked of you, that are demanded of you to be in this position? Who is your idol in this rank, in this profession? I looked at DeRay Lewis and Lawrence Taylor. I wanted to emulate them in their practices. So where does your mind have to be? And I remember in high school and college, Kobe Bryant was like my favorite all-time athlete. Not because of his physical attributes and what he did, is because of his mind and how he thought and his determination, his willingness to be different, his willingness to put the work in and not care if he was liked, not care about anything. Are you willing to be that? Are you willing to put the time in? Because we talk a lot about trusting the process, but trust takes time. Trust takes a whole hell of a lot of more time than we think it does. So, and if you really look at that phrase, trust the process itself denotes the passage of time. So what you're not just saying trust the process, you're saying trust the time. Trust the time that it takes to become what it is that you want to become. But how can you become something? How can you commit to something that you're not willing to invest in? If you're not willing to invest in yourself, if you're not willing to invest in your body, because you are a CEO now. You are the CEO of your body.
CEO of your body.
Of your body. If you're not willing to take care of your body, then you do not deserve the fruits of your labor. Because I can give you prime example. These athletes make millions of dollars based off their physical abilities, what they're able to do. on a nightly basis, weekly basis, yearly basis. I can give you that $40 million contract, and it's great now. But once your health is gone, once your movement is gone, once your thought process is fogged, you don't want that money. That money means absolutely nothing. You want your health. Health is the most important. So our mindset have to be fixed on, like you said, being disciples, being disciplined. And there's a lot of overlay, interdependentness in all of these areas, but they all fall back on principles. Because I don't like philosophy, I like principles. I like being founded in principles, because principles, you can never go wrong. Philosophies change. I can pick and choose whatever philosophy I want to pick. But if I'm grounded in principle, if I'm grounded in being disciplined, I'm grounded in building solid habits and being consistent in these acts, then I can't stray. Because if I choose one thing to do right, that one thing is going to trickle down into the next thing. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Excuse me?
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Now, who was talking to you about that the night before last? No, and who else? No. Poppy. And that's when Poppy was slapping the table and getting so upset, all right?
Yes.
Because it's not about you waking up in the morning, and it's not about you pursuing judo or football or wrestling. It's not about any of that. The thing about it is, it's a skill that you have to learn, because how you do this one thing,
it's how you're gonna do everything else.
Everything. Now,
how you wash those dishes, if you half-ass those dishes,
you're gonna half-ass it on the field.
You're gonna cut corners.
You're gonna cut corners in the math class. You're gonna ride the bike and take the shortcut. Because that's who you are until you have when your mind is shit, you need to have a mind shift.
Yep.
Because when your mind is shit, you will produce shit. When you have a mind shift, you can become the shit.
Yep.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, here's what I want to say. I'm going to piggyback off of Coach Pough. And you got to the discussion late. He played in the NFL. He's also the strength and conditioning coach, one of the strength and conditioning coaches at the University of Maryland. He also went to Howard University after Daddy. Daddy used to go back and speak to his team. And that motivational speech that I gave at Howard University, the one that's famous, I'm talking about him in there. He was sitting in there. He's a future Howard University Hall of Famer. Played in the All-Star game. He one of the best to ever do it. And I need not tell you what fraternity he's in. Okay, because you already what?
No.
You already know.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a thing about, we got to say it, believe it, write it, and work it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you told me.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to say it,
Mm-hmm.
because life and death is in the power of the tongue.
No, right.
I got to believe it, because without faith, nothing ain't gonna work.
Nothing ain't gonna work.
Right.
Without faith works, it's all dead.
It's all dead. I got to write it, because you got to write the vision and make it
plain. I got to see it, because I still got to see it.
I got to see. And then I got to work it, because the faith without
the work is dead. Right. So all of these,
none of these things can live without these four things. Now, when you look at the word become, Jesus. When you look at the word become, you have to be the thing that's on the way. Jesus. Now, the only way for you to be the thing that's on the way is you need to act like you already have it. And in order for you to act like you already have it, you got to say that you got it. You got to believe that you have it. You got to write down that you have it already. And then you have to work like you have it. And then you will become who you're supposed to be.
Yep. And when you do all those things, you change your verbiage. You change how you speak. And in changing how you speak, and you change how you think, you change how you interact. So you what I find myself saying is, oh, I gotta go work out. Because when you say I got to go work out, you're putting a negative connotation to it, saying that it's a burden. It's burdensome for me to go work out. Instead of putting in a term of positivity and affirmation, saying I get to go work out. It's a privilege for me to go work out. Because there are young men and women who are starving. There are young men and women who don't have the opportunities that you have. There are young men and women who have transitioned on into another realm. They don't have these opportunities. They don't have these privileges, because it's not a right, it's a privilege. It's a privilege. So you get to go work out. You get to read. You get to eat. You get to play with your friends. You get to practice and roll around on the mat. You get to, I don't know what y'all call it in judo, coach.
Beat people ass.
You get to beat people ass, right? You get to, you know what I'm saying, shoot the basketball. You get to, you know what I'm saying, do skill drills. You get to do these things. And when you change how you think about it, you change how you see it. When you change how you see it, you change your action towards it, because you appreciate it so much more. And if you don't appreciate it, the things that you appreciate, disappreciate will be taken away from you. Because you're taking it for granted.
We don't want to preach this thing, but we will.
Yeah.
Okay? We talked about be calm. We talked about say it, believe it, write it, work it. All right? Now, when you start doing all these things, you start asking for different things. When you start focusing on your food and your sleep and your recovery, you start asking for different things. You ask your mom, you ask your dad for different stuff. Because the book say you have not.
Because you ask not.
Because you ask not. Now, it's very difficult for you to ask for that which you don't want. When you say things differently, when you believe something, when you write it differently, when you work it differently, when you understand what you want to become, you start asking for those things. Because whether you know it or not, you're making a request to the universe. Through your behavior.
Yep.
So when you log on or you get on Snapchat, what you telling the universe is, I want to communicate on Snapchat. May I communicate on Snapchat? The universe says yes.
Absolutely.
May. When you turn the phone off at a certain time, you say, tell the universe, may I rest so that I can recover. So that I can get the opportunity to work out in the morning.
And the universe gonna give you everything you ask for.
But people don't understand. There's two types of communication. Basically, there's verbal and there's non-verbal. And you asking the universe in your behavior.
Yep. 55% of human communication is nonverbal.
Watch this. Okay. I didn't say nothing to you, did I? But how do you know I want you to come in?
Because with your hand movement.
Because of your actions. And we don't trust.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? We don't trust words, we trust behavior, we trust patterns.
So let me segue. Let me segue. I don't want to. Let me segue. Food, sleep, mindset, recovery, and the last one was movement. Nothing happens until something what?
Some move. Some gotta move. You gotta make a move. And we don't trust behavior. I mean, we don't trust words, we trust actions. Because in your actions, you're telling me what you want.
You're talking to me loudly when you act.
You're screaming. I heard what you said.
Holler.
I heard what you said, but I'm seeing what you do.
What?
Watching what you do. So you're telling me what you want, but you're also telling me what you value, where your value is. What are you willing to invest? So, you know, high school kids, they constantly trust the process. One, you can't trust the process because you haven't put the time in to the process. You're not willing to invest the time to make the transformative effort, which is not overnight, but it is overnight. Because you're not going to just do one thing today and expect it to happen tomorrow. That's just not how life works. Everything is circular. Everything goes through a process. I don't care how quick it is. I don't care how long it takes. But one thing I can assure you is the process is going to determine the outcome, the result at the end.
The process determines the product. Man, listen, Coach, I know I saw you looking at your watch, and I know we got to.
No, I'm good. No, somebody sent me a notification. I'm good. I got time.
That's good for me too. But listen, we covered food, sleep, mindset, movement, recovery, and you change something that I do now, because I'm older than you are, man. So some of my tools and skills are rooted in a demographic that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Which is why I say there's things that you teach me.
Right.
So I'm old school. I'm getting up talking. I'm Hulk Hogan. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bang in the weight room.
Right.
Which is what I want to say. It's on the strength and conditioning side. It's the preparation or the preparatory movement before we even start to move. What we need to do before we even start to train, or before I can even have those conversations of, hey man, the road is free, put your shoes on, go outside for a run. Where they are now, they need to have the discussion of food, sleep, mindset, movement, recovery.
Yep.
Larry, can you turn your phone off and go to sleep on time?
Can you go to sleep on time?
Can you make better decisions with your food?
Yep.
Can you get some more movement in during the day?
Yep.
Can you focus on your recovery?
Yep.
I don't know what recovery is. You Google every damn thing else.
Yep.
Can you work on your mindset? Now,
Yep.
watch this in. Watch this in. Watch this in. For Christmas, now you know why. I bought you a what?
Sandbag.
No, not only that. I bought you an alarm what?
Clock.
Watch out. Cause you didn't. I know you done had this discussion with your athletes who all said, I use my phone for an alarm. Watch now. When I buy you an alarm clock, $10, you don't really understand the value of it. I take notes when you're talking to me. When you're talking to an expert, take notes. All right.
You taking no expert?
You said what?
I said I ain't no expert.
Listen, you an expert in your space.
Oh man.
Let me tell you something.
Appreciate you.
Listen, to a 5-year-old, you're an expert on how to tie shoes.
That's right.
You don't need to be no PhD in shoe tying to teach somebody how to tie their shoes.
That's right.
Have you been to the NFL?
I have.
You want to go?
Yes.
Have you played D1 football?
I have.
Do you want to go?
Yes.
Were you all conference?
Yes, sir.
You want to be all conference?
Yes.
Were you all state?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You want to be all state?
Yes.
You got a scholarship?
Yes, sir.
You want a scholarship?
Yes.
He's a goddamn expert. So listen, for this right here, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He's an expert. So this right here, okay.
That's a trap.
We say
It's a trap.
It's a trap house.
It's a trap house.
It's the trap house, man.
Yeah, hey.
Now I'm telling you right now.
What them cars they got? Them hot cars where they leave the door unlocked and they leave the key in the ignition and people go get in them joints and the door lock on them.
Lock on them. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Now, it's a good tool. Now here's the problem with this. Okay, here's the problem.
If you know how to use it.
Here's the problem with this. This here, how much does the iPhone cost, Rufus?
$800.
Between $800 and $1,200.
Yep.
Will you please, Keith Pough, tell me what toy you had growing up that cost, $800, $1,200?
I ain't had none.
These children walk around with an $800, $1,200 toy. Some of them say, "Oh, mine ain't number 600."
I ain't had near 12 with $600.
I had $600, $800, $200. Now understand this. And you're not gonna sit there and lie. Have you ever been on Google Scholar? No. You ever been on Google?
Yes.
Okay, so Google Scholar is where you find the answers to your questions. See, Google ain't got no answers for you. Google Scholar got the answers. Google has some answers. Google Scholar has the answer.
The answer. Difference in nomenclature.
The difference, right?
Different in nomenclature there.
Right. When you Google, you Google. When I Google, I get on Google Scholar. Like he gets on Google Scholar. When he's looking at the research to help him write the program, we get on Google Scholar. So you can ask Siri. Siri gonna guide you to Google or Wikipedia. You ask Siri, she pull up Wikipedia for you, don't she?
Yes.
Yeah, Wikipedia ain't. You can't use Wikipedia in no research paper. No.
Absolutely not.
There's a way that you could use this, man. This for movement. This has apps on it where you can chart your steps. You can there's map my walk, map my run, movement apps for food, calorie counters, Fitbit, Fat Secret apps for recovery. They got recovery. They got stretching app where you can stretch your whole.
You got sleep apps. Sleep quality.
They got. But for mindset, you can pull up YouTube. Look at some good mindset. Did your daddy buy you some mindset CDs? Did you listen to them?
No.
Did you listen to them?
No.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. That it's not bad. I'm not getting on you. I just want you to understand that every world-class athlete, you talked to Coach Pep Hamilton too. You met Jimmy Johnson, Super Bowl champ, also a bruh. Every person I put you in front of, they giving you some tips on what you need to do. Poppy just slap you in the head, don't he?
Yes.
Right, because that Poppy old school, so he Poppy believes that's neurological recalibration.
You need to get you right.
Poppy just gonna slap the shit out you. He ain't got time for all this here. He not talking
Okay. Yeah.
Curry
He told you one. I'm gonna tell you one time.
One time, and after that, he gonna ask you, "Did you get up in the?" And that's exactly what he do, right? Right, because he don't have time for all that. See, the new wave. I talk more, and he talk more than I do now, and he got to talk to the people differently. And y'all be like, somebody sent me an article that some coach got fired because they said she was emotionally abusive.
Oh yeah, I don't know how they do it these days.
Listen, I don't coach to I don't coach to Olympic level athletes no more, right? I stopped. I stopped.
Yeah,
I stopped because
they soft these days, boy. Soft and wet tissue.
Listen, I'm talking about.
Different.
It's very different.
Different.
And they swear they getting it.
They different.
I told someone, I said, son, I don't care how tough you think you are as a running back. If you line up in front of Jack Tatum,
that boy gonna take your head off.
But he'll knock your penis inside out.
And then he gonna dare your mama to say something. And then dare your daddy to say something.
Say something. So you think these people not playing no games with you. They're not playing no games with you. And what he's giving you are what we call the soft tools. Okay? They're soft tools. They're hard tools, but there's also soft tools. The bottom line is, if you're a high school athlete and you listen to this, if you cannot do the soft tools, if you can't eat right, sleep, move more, do the recovery, and work on your mindset, you can forget about the rest. Now, here's the thing. You might be able to not do those things and still get a scholarship.
But it's going to catch up with you.
But it's going to impact you when you want to do it afterwards. Everybody going to have that time when they snap that, they put that chin strap on for the last time, they hear that click, click.
Click, and it's the wrap.
And let me tell you something. You didn't know when it was your last time putting it on.
You don't know when's your last time. You don't know when your last time.
You thought you had another one.
You thought you had one more day.
Thought maybe the CFL would get me. Maybe I get one over here, and he was like, I don't want to do no arena football. I'm good with that. But I know I can play. I done seen what they got in there. I know I can get it.
No, I got it, but that phone stopped ringing. You never know.
You never know.
And the harsh reality is you can do just about everything right, and you still have it chopped away from you. But I'd much rather do it the right way than cut corners and say, what if? They say, what if? Because at least I know I gave it everything I had. I did everything to the best of my ability that I could have done with the resources that I had.
So that's
even no stern unturned.
That's what we got on the high school athletes. So now, really, when I say quick, let's do it in about 5 to 7 minutes. Then we'll close it off. What is your advice to collegiate athletes? And what are you recommending without, giving away some of the stuff that you guys are doing at University of Maryland? What are you doing right now in this COVID-19 situation to make sure that your athletes arrive on campus in the fall, no matter when that date is, in shape and ready to work?
Can we pause real quick so I can use the restroom?
Yes, sir. So what you got, man, on the for some advice for the collegiate athletes, man, the college athletes going through this particular coronavirus situation, and you're trying to make sure that your team or that you need to make sure that your teams, your athletes are ready to go, man, in the fall. What advice can you give some of the some of the kids out there? And they always tell us when I was coaching college, I always tell them, man, don't call these people kids, they're young adults.
Yeah, young adults, right?
They tell you that too, right? They tell you that too.
Put the right term on it.
Yeah, they put it, but they kids though.
They still trying to figure out life out. Shit, we still trying to figure life out. I would simply say to them, one is your mindset mentality. Be where you are now and do the best that you have, because if you don't take care of yourself mentally, then physically, emotionally, you're not even going to be ready nor prepared to come back and return to any kind of performance or play, because you're going to be so out of whack. And I think for the most part, we've done a great job in this world, in this society, of compartmentalizing things and putting them in as far as how the body operates, when everything is interconnected and all they're interchangeable in how in the inner working. So if I'm not ready mentally, I'm not emotionally, this has an effect on my body physically. So your mind got to be right first. Now I would just start with the mind. I'm telling them to be where you are, do the best that you have and what you have, because everybody's situation is different. And there's an old story about a kid who didn't eat in elementary or middle school, who didn't eat, who slept on the hard floor, who was wearing the same clothes for 7 days, but the teacher is yelling at him for not having a pencil. That kid don't care about that pencil. This kid is hungry. This kid is emotionally distressed. This kid needs shelter, right? This kid cares nothing about a pencil. So I try to connect with them as a human first. What do you need? How can I help you? Because people they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So if I care first, they're more apt and more willing to share their story with me, and they're more willing to dive in and to do, the program that I've prescribed for them. So I try to tap in with them emotionally. And I also, try not to blow their phone up, because I know most athletes, they have a ton of coaches reaching out to them. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and give them the best tools available to say, look, this is what you need to do, because this is what you said you wanted to go. And I trust you. I want to put the onus on you, because this is what we've been able to do in the past. But I've shared with them, look, now is the time where you get the butter from the duck. Because it's easy to do it when you got gyms open, you have the resources. Are you willing to put that same effort and energy in when you don't have? Can you do it with less? Are you willing to load up that suitcase and do those squats? Are you willing, to hit the road? The road is free. Find you a hill. Are you willing to do those step ups on the stairs? Are you willing to do those push ups? Are you willing?
This is where your HBCU experience comes into play.
Comes into hand because we used to doing more with less. We've always operated from a deficit. So to you, this is business as usual. You like, hey, I haven't had it anyway, so I still got to do it. For the, you know what I'm saying, for a lot of athletes, this is a change of pace, especially across the BCS, championship division, championship levels. You don't have those high-tech facilities now. You don't have all that technology. You got to get back to brass tacks. You got to get back to the fundamentals. And this is the basis of our training, is keep it simple. Keep it simple. We just going to change different variations throughout the progression, but we're going to keep it simple. Because now everything that we do in our program, you can do at home. Everything. There's nothing that you can't do in our weight room that you can't do at home. You just may not have the tools readily available and accessible to you that we have in our weight room. Might have a different way to load yourself, but you can do the same things at home. Now it comes down to, are you disciplined? Are you willing to develop the habits and the routines to put yourself in the best position possible when this is all over? And it starts with your mental. So I start with the mental. I lay on, you know what I'm saying, being disciplined in the programming that I rolled out for them, which is, it's not much. And any strength coach can tell you there's nothing sexy about this program. There's nothing sexy about most programs. Most successful programs. 6
exercises, a couple supplementals, and let's go to work.
That's it. Let's go to work. Is nothing sexy about, you know, the most effective strength and conditioning programs. Like that IG stuff, it looks great on camera. It looks good. It's cool. But that's not what wins ball games. That's not what makes you a better athlete. That's not what gets you stronger. That's not what allows your body to perform at a high level. Most of those things are arbitrary, and they are so left field at best. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of it is just straight bullshit, to be honest with you.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
People ask me about, yeah, but what about movements? What about specificity training? I say, as you get higher in your sport, you get your specificity of training
in your sport. In your sport. Playing your sport.
I tell people, I said, it's as simple as this. I said, man, when I was lifting, okay, all right, it was squat,
yep,
bench,
yep,
dead,
yep,
and cleans.
Yep.
And it was a compendium of the movement because I'm not an Olympic level weightlifter, so I'm doing clean pulls.
That's it.
The spending the time trying to learn how to do a perfect clean is taken away from the time that I have. I just did the triple extension from the left of the ankle to the knee. That's it. I can also get it from weighted squat jumps or weighted box jumps.
Whatever.
I get everything that you got on that perfect power clean from those movements. I'm just trying to suck the most out of the movement possible.
That's it.
That's all you need for collegiate athletes.
That's it.
When you start dealing with professional athletes, you got to pull a little bit neurologically for them because they need to. Now, how can I maximize what Usain Bolt has without hurting him? So I can't make Usain Bolt squat 600 pounds, even if he could do it, because I don't want the wear and tear on him. So what do? I put Usain Bolt on a single leg.
That's it. You work lateral
leg squats with weight to work on intramuscular coordination, neuromuscular adaptation. So when you get to that end, you got to start doing things a little bit different based up on the athlete that you're working with
and the demands of the sport.
But in that 14 years old to 22 years old, listen to me very carefully.
You need to be doing the fundamentals.
You need to be doing it. Listen, you need to be able to squat.
That's it.
You need to be able to push. You need to be able to pull.
And this is what I tell them. And I look at it this way: squat, lunge, press, pull, carry. I would, and if you look at any solid program,
and a little bit of rotation,
little rotation. If you look at any solid program, there's multiple exercises with 1 or 2, 3 of those components.
Correct.
There's a squat pattern, there's a lunge, there's a press, there's a pull, there's a carry, there's rotation. I don't care how you get it, but you're doing one of those. You're doing a couple of those things in every program.
Correct.
So between 14 and 22, you need to be able to squat bilaterally. You need to be able to lunge. You need to be able to do some push-ups. Now, what you can do is what we call tweakology, is we just change the variation, change the angle. We just change the tempo, change the intensity, cut down the rest time.
Change the load.
Speak up the volume. Peak up the volume. So, Monday might be a moderate day. Wednesday will be a high neural day. So that'll be an intense day. We talk about we going hard in the paint. And then Friday, we going for our central governor. We trying to tap out. Now, given what we have, the tools that you have might not be available, but the methods always there. You always got the methods. Always got the methods. So if you and there's no secret, that's all we doing here. We gonna squat, we gonna push, we gonna pull, and we just gonna find different ways to do it.
Right.
Just gonna find different ways to do it. And going into the summer, and I'm glad you touched on that, the expression of power, because Olympic weightlifting is exactly what that is.
Olympic.
There are people who train. There are people who train their entire lives to perfect these techniques. If you are proficient in teaching those techniques, kudos to you. If your athletes have the mobility, if they have the proficiency in those movements, more power to you. But that takes a great deal of teaching, and you have to be a technician at time. A lot of what we don't have is time when we have 20, 40, 60 athletes. So what are we going, and this is, what's the end goal?
What are we spending the bulk of our time on? Here's what people don't realize. When Coach Pough sits down and makes a program, or I make a program, there's what we call a chronological landscape that we're working with. So from now until the season ends with that athlete, that calendar is already set. Already set. What we put in there is based upon the time that we have.
Well,
I can't, sometimes you got 16 weeks, sometimes 24 weeks, sometimes 40 weeks.
Depending on the sport. Yep.
Depending on the sport. I can't spend my time using 3 and 4 and 5 weight room sessions teaching you how to power clean.
Nope.
Nor can I spend the volume of work on teaching you how to power clean and making you sometimes you can.
Yep.
So once they've mastered some other stuff, if you have somebody who's going to spend their time to do it, or some parents did it for their kids early, which they do. Some people got means, they learned early. But most of the time, I say, what does this lift provide, and what do I need?
What do I need from it? I got to get triple extension. How can I get that triple extension?
I need to get what I can get from the second pull.
Yep.
So, do I need to rack it?
Nope. Do I rack it on the basketball court? Are you racking it on the football field? Are you are you stopping the bat or the barbell when you swing through?
No.
No.
So can I use the push press? Of course.
Absolutely.
Can I use the push press? Yes.
Can I use a sandbell? Yes. Can I use a basketball? Can I use a weight vest? Can I use a suitcase? Can I use a kettlebell?
And I get triple system, all that. And I don't have to teach the power clean.
Right. And I don't have to wear and tear on my wrist. I don't have the, you know what I'm saying, I don't have to load my spine. I can keep my joints fresh.
And that was something, because I trained the basketball team too at Towson State. What I had to learn was, because I'm old school, and I thought everybody had a squat.
Yeah.
Man, basketball players, some of them cannot squat.
You'll be surprised. Yeah, you'll be surprised.
Right,
anatomically, they're just
they're 6'8",
they got long femurs, long torsos. Yeah, it's
they can squat to warm up. They can use the stick to do the overhead squats for the whole body work. But you load them up, you got to put them on the leg press, buddy. Unless you want to get fired.
Unless you don't like your job.
Because when they come to practice and they talk about my back hurt, they don't want to hear nothing about the back's a muscle too. You get over it. Listen, let me tell you something.
I can't move.
Listen.
I can't move.
Listen, we know they need sets of 20 and sometimes 30s. You better get in people sets of 8 and sets of 6. Get them strong and let them play.
Exactly.
If you mess around and mess up that coach's opportunity for practice, they're going to let you go.
Oh, yeah. It depends on the demand of the sport, man. You got to understand that. And that's why it's that principle, because the philosophy for the longest has been, oh, you got to clean, you got to snatch, you got to squat. You know what I'm saying? You got to do you got to do heavy deads, when most of your athletes that come in, they have no experience with the weight room whatsoever. So any stimuli you apply to them, they're gonna adapt. They're gonna adapt. I could put them on the general prep, and they're going to have some hypertrophy, because that's the adaptation. They're in the peak of neuroadaptation. So understanding your athlete. If you understand your athlete, understand the body type, understand what you're working with, understand the demands of the sport, you have a better idea of where you need to go with your program. And during this time for us, and I've been on a number of Zoom calls with so many other strength and conditioning coaches, that we're all in agreement that this may be the best thing to happen to us from a sports standpoint, as we're talking about the health and longevity of these kids, where these kids, they've been playing ball year round. Football, basketball, training, 7-on-7, you know what I'm saying? They don't rest. They're loaded with the joints are loaded. Now you got these kids that come to college having stress fractures, nagging injuries, you know what I'm saying? And yes, we're dealing with anomalies, but you still need rest, period. Machines need rest. Machines have off buttons.
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe with college coaches, because I've coached high school athletes. Mm-hmm. I've also coached at the collegiate level, and then I coach at the professional level, and they're different.
Yeah, all of it different. Yeah,
I watch college coaches do things that are, I say, morally and ethically irresponsible. Meaning, yes, you can push that college athlete hard as hell, and you can bench press them to death, and don't do any pulling movements, or don't balance anything out, don't do any rotator cuff movement, and they'll be super strong. But when they're done playing for you, their bodies are shit.
Terrible.
I think you have a responsibility to take care of this person in their later years. Meaning,
help the human first.
Yes, help the human first, because they're not going to always play for you. Most college athletes are done in 4 to 5. Period. You can't just train them, and make them strong to use them on the field, and then discard them. Then they got all of these muscular imbalances, and we could literally squat somebody, squat them, make them super, super strong, and mess up the muscular balance between their quads and their hamstrings. It's already at 3 to 2 already. It's already at 3 to 2. Right. Now you keep going squatting them, and squatting is a quad glute dominant exercise. Absolutely. And you don't pay attention. You don't do ham declines. All you want to do is do hamstring curls. You can't do hamstring curls. You got to do glute ham declines.
Right.
You got to do the stability ball hamstring curls.
You got to do the eccentric work.
You got to do the eccentric work for the hamstring. But I could just make you strong, and you could play and be okay. And then in later years, okay,
ACL, Achilles,
ACL injury.
You out in the yard playing with your kids, and pop.
You don't realize you got the ACL injury because you're more quad dominant, no hamstring work.
You got no brakes. Got no brakes.
And
posterior chain shot.
People don't realize that this happens. People don't realize when you have a collegiate soccer player, a female soccer player, a woman soccer player, when they come to university, the first thing that you gotta do, you gotta hamstring curl them to death. And I don't mean hamstring curl on the hamstring machine.
Absolutely.
You gotta hamstring them on the stability ball.
Yep.
You gotta hip lift them on the stability ball.
Yep.
You gotta work the way till they can do single leg hamstring curls.
Yep.
Because the rest of it, they're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
They got to run and cut.
Yeah.
A collegiate soccer player. A collegiate soccer player, your job as a female collegiate soccer player, if you can keep that young lady on the field without an ACL injury, you have won.
And you have to look at the anatomical makeup of the woman. There's already an acute angle from the hips to the hips. So they're already in valgus, right? And 80% of ACL injuries are non-contact across the sport.
Across the board.
So now we are talking about, now you look at the demands of the sport. What are the demands of soccer? Changing direction, being agile. Sometimes, within a week, you're talking about the volume of cutting between practice and the game in the upwards of 500 to 1,000 reps of just cutting and changing direction and braking and bracing and absorbing force. So if you don't have those breaks, if you're so anterior dominant, when you're just used to going forward, you never work the sagittal plane, you never work your posterior chain.
And don't do and have zero transverse work.
No. You might as well get on 95, cut your brake line, get on 95, and just press the gas.
Because you're going to get an accident.
Absolutely.
They don't get that, and it's hard to explain that. And when you're dealing with female athletes, man, you got to look at them. Like you got to look at them.
Yeah.
You got to.
You constantly assess and then reassess. There's no testing.
Here's the thing: you get them at 17, they leave at 22.
Yep.
Anyone can look at their picture at 17, look at their picture at 22, and see how their bodies change. When your hips start to change. Yep. When you increase in terms of the fatty tissue, in terms of your breasts, for some athletes they do anyway.
Right.
Especially if they don't pay attention to their food. Yep. It changes to what we call a COG, the center of gravity. When the center of gravity changes, it changes their movement, and they don't even know it until the tire blows.
Yep.
Which is why we try to tell them, and there's a fine balance with training the female athlete. You can't push them toward the female triad, but at the same time, you have to talk to them about nutrition. Yep. You can't body shame, but at the same time, you got to talk to. You have to talk to them about food. Yeah. You can't tell them what they should eat, right? But you have to give them guidelines on quality nutritional practices, and it's so different because if they don't follow. What you do in the weight room changes them.
Everything, neurologically, hormonally, and people underestimate. Again, I might sound like a broken record, man. I can spend hours on this. Just like the importance of sleep and your mind, and the hormonal responses it elicits neurologically when you don't sleep. Or when you feed it the wrong foods, or when you're not getting proper movement. And we're all hormonal. I don't care what nobody says. We all are emotional beings.
Right.
And our responses are wired or, triggered by our hormones and the neurotransmitters that, send signals from here to there. And if one that's doing this, then another hormone or another neurotransmitter got to do this for that. Now your body's haywire. Now you got a shitstorm, to be honest with you. So understanding what makes them tick and when and if this is the right time for that, because now you also got to deal with women in their menstrual cycle, weight fluctuations.
I don't know how it's done on the university level. I know on the professional level, I will get blood work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys do blood work at the university.
I don't think. That's
more.
Right
now.
Right. I don't care right now. Yeah, that's more for.
It's private.
Yeah, it's private. So it had to be a doctor. Yeah.
We do blood work, and I don't know if you have this discussion with another. I have to sit down and talk to a woman about when her menstruation cycle is.
You have to. Yeah.
It's very difficult, and you got to put it on the calendar.
Right.
And work their program around it, and the coach needs to know too, because there is a time period where the propensity towards ACL injuries increases because based upon hormonal release, everything, not the joints, but the tendons, ligaments get more lax.
Yep,
because of hormonal release, because it's trying to prepare their bodies for some different things. This happens monthly.
And
if you have,
it's so important, man.
If you have different requirements of them in the weight room, and they still got another practice in the evening, and they're fatigued under this relaxed state, and they're not neurologically heightened as much as they need to be because they haven't slept, they haven't been recovering, and then you didn't back down on the volume, boom, it becomes the perfect storm.
So now you're talking about factors. It wasn't just in, when we look at injury, we like to pinpoint injury as that event, as this is what caused that. No, but you don't take into the account that they just practiced 3 hours yesterday, the day before that, they got 2 hours of sleep, had an exam,
woke up with their boyfriend,
right? They beefing with moms at home. Then you don't have enough money to eat. When you do eat, you eat garbage because now you're craving these foods that lack nutrients, right? So you just piling junk on top of junk on top of junk. Now you secreting more cortisol. So now you're highly stressed. Now you in your sympathetic when I need you to be in your parasympathetic. So the volume that I give you really doesn't matter because now you're still stressed. You and your body perceives this as stress. Now you're in a chronic state of inflammation, so you're not recovering. Then you go out here and, this person rolled their ankle or, they pulled a hamstring. Man, it's
more to it than that.
It's so deep. It's so deep, man.
I try to tell people, don't blame the game on the kicker.
Oh no,
it was the 3rd and 7 that you let them pick up.
Exactly.
At the end of the second quarter, that cost.
Everybody's stressed.
And now you want to put on the kicker,
right?
All you do is kick. Well, all you do is tackle.
That's it. You don't miss 5 of those.
But he missed one kick, and now all hell that broke loose.
Oh man, look here. He got death threats. He can't ride back on the bus.
He can't get on the bus. He can't get on the bus. But they won't let him get on the bus.
Oh man.
But
it's deeper. It's deeper than what people think it is, and I think we have to understand it. And it's been a privilege and a pleasure to work with women athletes on this level because you get a different appreciation, respect, and understanding of the demands of what's required of women and just women in sport and then women in life in general. I already think highly of women to begin with because of what they have to endure just being a woman first and foremost. But to see them thrive in these different spaces on different platforms when in this time and era and then being able to work with them, you know, firsthand and closely, you understand that they really are the shit.
Right.
You did.
They got a lot more shit to deal with athletically than men do.
And we do. Right.
Like, why? And it's people like what? Well, I'm not getting into that discussion right now because that's a whole nother podcast.
I about to say, yeah, you trying.
Right. No, but it's just that they are different. If you think that men and women are the same in terms of the training process.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No. Now, here's the thing. At the professional level, they get more similar.
Yeah, more similar. Yeah.
There are reasons for that we're not going to talk about. Okay.
Right.
Basically, they become more masculine.
Right.
The
hormone change.
Right. It's right. You're dealing with athletes that low body fat.
Yep.
High lean muscle tissue.
Yep.
Different.
Higher levels of testosterone. We all have testosterone. They have higher levels of testosterone.
I like you said they have higher levels. Right. Exactly.
They have higher levels of testosterone compared to the average woman. Compared to the average woman.
They look like no, they don't look like a man because it's something that makes a man look like a man.
Right.
They look like what they need to look like to do
what they need to do.
Job.
Yep.
And if they don't look like that, they can't do their job.
They can't do their job.
So don't worry about how you look. Yeah. Worry about how you do your job. Because you don't worry about how you look when you get dressed for work.
Absolutely.
Just put on what you need to put on so you can go do your job. That's it. Well, man, we can end it on that, man. We had some. It was a good talk, man. Good coffee.
Man, look, we could talk all day. You already know that.
Yeah, listen. It was good, man. We talked about HBCU, just to cover it again. We talked about your dad's influence, talked about work ethic, bathing yourself in the sport, being a ball boy. We talked about gender roles, things that you learned from growing up in a Christian household, the strength of your mom, creating a healthy human first, and making sure that your athletes understand that you care about them and care for them. And doing what we call KLT, know, like, and trust. Your athletes need to know you. They need to like you. They need to trust.
Absolutely.
And you talk about trust being in and of itself, being a process. And if you want them to trust the process, they got to first trust you. Then we talked about the important things, really for anybody, people who are what we call Gen Pop athletes, but more specifically, what we need to talk to or speak to. Coach Pough talked about that upcoming high school athletes, before they jump into the physical side and just start thinking about lifting and running and everything else, pay attention to the gas that they put in their own personal car, which is their food. Pay attention to making sure they get a lot of sleep. Make sure they get the right movement. Making sure that they do the recovery, the stretching, and the foam rolling, the simple things that you can do on your own.
The little things.
Right, and then changing your mindset, by watching and becoming more purposeful about what you say, by believing what you say, and then by writing down what you say, and then by doing the work based upon what you said, what you believe, and what you wrote, so that you can end up becoming who you're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And Coach Pough also talked about when you're going after what you want to go after, you're not making a sacrifice.
You're making a choice. Making a choice. You're saying yes to a thing.
Let your yes be what?
Let your yes be worth the less.
Yeah, let your yes be worth the less.
It got to, man.
Coach Pough, I really appreciate your time, man. You have any social media outlets that you'd like the people to follow you on?
I'm on Instagram at KPOUGH. I'm also on Twitter at ITSKPOUGH13. I think that's about it for my social media outlets. I'm not really.
You can't.
I'm not really active with anything else.
You know what? That's something I want you to talk to real quick before we close. All
okay.
Right? Coach Allen and I talked about this. He's one of my business partners from my company, Switch On. We talked about this.
these kids don't understand or recognize that. Give me one moment. I did this before. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This is called My Social Book. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this goes from January 1st, 2014 to April 25th, 2015. This is every post that I made on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
This is every post that I made on Facebook. Now, I tell people this. NFL clubs that are getting ready to spend $1 million on you, they will pay
somebody to go through
a couple $100 to look at every social media post that you made ever.
I take it a step farther than that. When you release something into the universe, cyber universe, it goes into a central repository. So when you delete it, it's never deleted.
Never deleted.
You may have deleted it for that moment, but once you press send, it is gone, and someone can retrieve it at any point in time. Anytime. So
people who do cybersecurity tell you all that, but you don't believe it. And if you go to something called the Wayback Machine,
yeah,
you can go to the Wayback Machine online, and it'll pull up how the website used to look way back when, and show it to you, because it's all cached.
Oh, it's all cash, and then no one, you got to be politically correct, but they need a dose of the truth. No one is telling you what, to post, or that you should care about what people think about you, but you should care about how you are perceived, because someone's perception of you becomes their reality. While it may not be your reality, it's their reality about you. And whether you believe it or not, this is what these coaches think about. And what you post is how you are being perceived, but not only how you are being perceived, but it's your perception about your reality as well. And this is what you value. So if I'm creating a culture, I'm looking for someone who is high character. And if I see some things that are contradictory towards what I believe, then I'm gonna be hesitant to accept you. Now, if I do accept you,
or just not choose you at all.
No, at all. Not choose you at all.
I told somebody, I said, you might post something that might be fine for you to still get recruited by William and Mary.
Right.
But you might post something that Liberty University is no longer gonna consider you.
Exactly.
Because that's not in line with what they believe.
What they believe, right. And you just be mindful of the things that you post. Be mindful of what you say. And if it's something that you strongly believe, if it's morally and ethically correct, then by all means go with it. But also some things don't need to be said or posted on the internet.
And let me tell you what Coach Pough is also letting you know. If you're in high school and you're trying to get a college scholarship, or you're in college and you have a scholarship, shut your mouth.
Be quiet, please. Please and thank you.
Politically, shut your mouth.
Absolutely.
Okay, because you will lose your job.
Right.
Or the opportunity to do your job.
Right.
Shut your mouth. There's a difference, and young people don't understand. There's a difference between a tweet and a text. A text is between you and your friends. Sometimes you're so used to texting, you send something that should be in a text to the world.
Yeah.
And it will change your life.
And
I don't care how you feel about President Trump. You are not him.
Right. And we live in a world where we've given everybody an opinion. And opinions are like buttholes. Everybody got one. They all stink. They all stink. So, at the end of the day, if you don't have anything nice to say, just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. It's not worth it. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth what it could cost you in the long run. And again, I say that to say what people think about you is their business, but don't give them the ammunition. Don't give them the ammunition because of something that you said or something that might have sound cool, or you thought it's okay not to have a thought about something. It's okay to be indifferent about something that everybody is saying stuff about. 90% of stuff that transpired, I don't even care. Because it doesn't sway me one way or the other. if it's not affecting my family, how I feed myself, and pretty much that's it. If it don't affect those two things, it don't matter to me.
Let me tell you something, parents. If you want your child to get a scholarship somewhere, or if your child's an athlete at a school somewhere, you need to be careful what you say too.
Absolutely.
Because they go with the apple don't fall far
from the tree.
Right.
Most trees ain't planted on the hill. I ain't never seen one planted on the hill. I ain't never seen no fruit tree planted on the hill. So just be mindful of what's being said, what you say. You don't like the NFL might be better than the FBI when it comes to investigating and doing background checks. They can go all the way back to they went all the way back to my 4th grade teacher.
They talked to your 4th grade teacher?
Talked to my 4th grade teacher, and I wasn't even considered to be. I had a 3rd, 4th round grade. So I can't imagine the reconnaissance they do for someone that they're going to invest $50 million in.
Wow.
You understand? That's just the depths of their reach, how far they can go back. So there's nothing that you, yeah. So the bandwidth of what they can touch and what they have access to, and that's just the NFL. I'm not talking about major corporations and stuff like that. I'm talking about what I've experienced, and I can only speak from my experience. But these things are, and that was 5 years ago, almost 7 years ago. But just be mindful of what you put out there. Again, just be mindful of what you think, what you put out to the universe. If your mind right, then half of the thoughts, you won't have to worry about.
All right, well, Coach Pough, I thank you for your time, man. This was another edition of Coffee with Rhadi. I want to highly encourage you to visit www.coffeewithrhadi.com. Those people who are athletes. I also want to encourage you to get the book, Enhance or Destroy, Relationship Lessons from an Elite Athlete. You can find that at www.enhanceordestroy.com. It's absolutely fantastic book that will show you how the people that are around you can impact your success. I think Coach Pough read the book too.
Absolutely did.
Absolutely fantastic. You got it, and unfortunately or fortunately, you got to make some tough decisions after you
make some tough. You got to make some business decisions every now and again.
Listen, I knew we ain't gonna talk about, but I knew the business decision that you had to make. But that's how me and you ain't had to talk. But you knew I was talking to you.
Absolutely.
And everything got to do like this, Ham. And if it's tough to say it.
Yeah.
And if you say it when somebody's not ready to hear it, they'll repel you. So you just got to give them.
Absolutely.
Give them the text, and then they got to sit down. And they got to read it, and then they got to.
Absolutely. They got to decipher for themselves.
It's unfortunate sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the seat right now too.
You know what I'm saying?
I was just a little further down the line.
A little further down the road, yeah.
That's it. But it's it is what it is. Hey man, thank you for your time, man. Love you, bro.
I appreciate it. Love you too, dog.
All right, Root.
Root.